Nielsen Ratings is a show just for you. We talk film, TV, both old and new. We discover new things, our taste get broader. So here's the show's host in no particular order. He's a little rough, he's a little caustic. Everybody knows the most, the one and only toxic. From way up top, you find the knob at the start. He forgot to press like when he used StreamYard. Stupenzolicious gonna judge you on your sense of cool by asking you what's your favorite Mexican food. He shouldn't tell secrets, but you know that he can. It's the Hollywood goss from the inside man. When Valencia sometimes drinks cappuccino, everybody thinks he looks like Quentin Tarantino. So come on in and join the Nielsen Ratings. It's a show that you've all been anticipating.
Hello, how are we doing? Welcome to the Nielsen Ratings, our weekly review and chat show of things on film and TV. We generally want to recommend you. Sometimes we might tell you something to avoid. There's definitely going to be one of those coming up tonight. Let me bring in my panel. My regular co-host will have to duck out early this evening, so I'm going to bring him in first. The wonderful Stupenzo. How's it going?
How's it going? I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm good. I know you're only going to be here for a short time. Is that right?
Yeah, we'll see.
I know you've got lots of videos to watch with girls fighting in swimming pools. So, you know, these are important things. Let us bring in the inside man.
Evening. How's everybody?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Coolio?
Not too bad. We also have from Beyond the Wall, Northern English Bastard.
Hello, you beautiful bastards, and how are you lot doing?
Not too bad. And from
Good.
the depths of the dark sewers, the Lord of Toxicity.
Cobra Kai never dies.
Cobra Kai never dies. Indeed. Stupenzo hasn't seen Cobra Kai.
No, but now that it's over and everyone loves it, I'll probably check it out.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean-
it. That's how he does things, Lance. He doesn't. Stupenzo doesn't like to give things a chance unless he knows it's a safe bet, which I more and more coming to admire.
Or if it's short. If it's short, I'll give it a chance.
Well, it's 6 seasons, the last season of which is in 3 separate parts, no less.
Right.
Yeah, but not now though.
No,
So-
now exactly. Now it's over and everyone's loving it. So, all right.
Yeah. I would say you could probably just watch the third part of the last season to give you the gist of, you know, kind of, if you don't want to commit, that'll give you the gist of everything that's happened. But it is
Just watch the recaps of the first 2 parts, and that's
yeah,
it.
there you go. Watch the recaps and then watch the last 5 episodes.
Yeah, and so just go watch it real quick and come right back.
That's what he was saying. That's what Lance was telling me the other day. We're going to be doing Cobra Kai. It's only 6 seasons. You can start watching it now. No.
It's only you know, you can watch it on times 10.
It's only 600 hours or 60 hours.
We're also going to be talking about a couple of other movies that have dropped fairly recently, and no doubt some kind of mad Italian film that the inside man will be talking to us about. He may even come up with a non-Italian movie one week. Who knows?
Well, I did last week. I did.
Yeah, there was a Spanish one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who Could Kill a Child?
Indeed. Yeah, always the entertaining titles. Yeah, okay, so we're going to start with one of the Oscar contenders, which Stupenzo had sort of briefly recommended before on a previous episode. And I just watched it today, and actually I really liked it. So it's going to be a recommendation from me, and let's just discuss this briefly, because I think Stupenzo and I might be the only 2 people that have seen it. But this is a Real Pain, which Kieran Culkin just won a BAFTA for, and I have to say he earned it. He's his usual high energetic self. It's basically a road movie, but it's a road movie about two Jewish cousins traveling to Poland to experience the historical Jewish-Polish experience. They're part of a little tour group, which consists of several other Jewish Poles or Poles of Jews of Polish descent. It also includes a Rwandan African who has since converted to Judaism because he finds he relates to the Jewish people in Wisconsin, where he's relocated to, and he's joined the Jewish faith because they both went through genocides. And then their tour guide is an English chap who is a Polish history major who is not Jewish and doesn't stop talking during the tour, apart from when they go to the concentration camp. But it's it's kind of a sort of, I get with Stupenzo, would you describe it as kind of a comedy road movie?
It's like a dramedy.
Dramedy,
Yeah, it's
Dramedy.
and it's two guys backpacking across Europe. But they're it's like the Jewish guys, and they're doing the whole Holocaust tour because their grandmother was a survivor, and it's a lot of just a lot of complaining, a lot of Kieran Culkin is like, he does a great job acting, but the movie is kind of one of those frustrating films where it's just like, I don't know,
a lot of kvetching.
Yeah,
Hey,
a lot.
kvetching, man.
Yeah, and it's like Jesse Eisenberg, I think, wrote and directed the movie too, which is
really?
interesting.
Yep.
Wow.
And I mean, it's a little film. It's a small movie with some pretty good performances. But yeah, it's basically these two cousins are constantly, they have like a love-hate relationship kind of. And yeah, I mean, it's a sweet film, but it's not a movie I really want to rewatch.
No, I'm not about to go out and buy the Blu-ray or anything.
Yeah,
but it was I was engaged. I was engaged primarily because of Kieran Culkin's performance.
Yeah.
It is beautifully shot though. Has this kind of piano score going all the way through. It really reminded me of the film The Way, which is about the people walking the Carmen de Santiago, which is a film I really liked, that was directed by Emilio Estevez and starred his dad. So it's got that kind of vibe, that kind of tone, sort of religious discovery, spiritual awakening, this sort of thing.
Sort of pilgrimage type.
Yeah, a little bit of a pilgrimage vibe, but more comedy in this one. My favorite scene in the movie was when they come across these statues which are dedicated to the sort of the liberation of Warsaw, and Kieran Culkin's character wants to kind of get a photo taken where he's kind of imitating the statues, which is really inappropriate and kind of not cool. But he manages to convince all of the other tour group members eventually to take part, except for his cousin, who ends up having to take all the photos on everyone's phones. And I really liked that. I thought that was clever. It was a clever scene. It was a lot of fun. And I'll give him his due. I like Kieran Culkin a lot as an actor. He really showed us he knows his shit when he did Succession. And he's good in this. He keeps the film moving. He's the powerhouse at the, he's kind of the engine of the movie. And I liked him. Thought he was great. So, and he also gives you a pretty good lesson on how to dodge paying for your ticket on a train in Poland, which might prove quite useful for people. So there you are. I'll give it a solid 7.5 out of 10, maybe even an 8. I mean, it's for what it is, it is one of these kind of small talking head road movies, but it's one of the good ones in that kind of genre for me. Stupenzo, you want to say anything else before we move on?
I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Yeah, like I
Really?
said, Kieran Culkin probably going to win that Oscar. We'll see.
I hope so. Tox, did you see it?
I did.
Yeah, I thought so because
I loved it.
You've made very descriptive comments in the chat about it.
Yeah. No, I thought it was great. I really like anything Kieran Culkin has done in the last 15 years. Really has been. He's great. He's my favorite Culkin.
Okay, he's my favorite Culkin also.
Cool to
Critic
see
Al is in the
Gray.
chat. He has
sorry.
seen the Alien 3 assembly cut. I have also seen that cut. I thought it was all right. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that movie though, and the Alien still looks terrible in any of the CGI shots. It looks absolutely crap.
They're all rod puppets. That was a rod puppet. But what they strangely did. Sorry to digress.
Yeah.
But what they weirdly did was, so the film was shot in 35mm, but they shot the rod puppet miniature stuff in 70mm, so that when it went through the optical printer, when they had the optical processes, because there's generally some kind of degradation, second generation filtration of the picture quality. So they thought that it would kind of degrade down to 35mm, but it didn't. It really stands out.
Yeah.
Sorry for that bit of digression there.
That's all right. All right. Well, we'll move on.
You didn't ask me about this film. I saw it a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did you see it as well?
I saw it, yeah. I saw it a couple of weeks ago for the first time. I'm meaning to review it, as I feel bad I didn't get a chance to last year because,
Well, give us your quick overview and Nielsen rating out of 10. Oh, I like this poster.
Well, yeah, it's a very slow, but it is very charming. It's very heartbreaking at the same time. It's very emotional. You buy the relationship between these two chalk and cheese cousins, but Kieran Culkin, yeah, he really does. He really does sell it. He's a pain in the ass, but you kind of want to hang out with him. But at the same time, he's kind of pathetic, and you feel bad for him as well because he's kind of not got his life in order. While Jesse Eisenberg's character has, and it kind of ends on a little bit of not really a high note for Culkin because it looks like he's going to go back to his old ways, but he just can't help but want to hang out with these characters more. They just they feel so real and realistic, the confliction, but yet the bond as well.
I really liked this lady. I thought this lady was really good in the movie.
Jennifer Grey.
Yeah, Jennifer Grey, bud.
Was it Jennifer Grey? No wonder I didn't recognize her. Yeah. She was good. That's so good that she's come back to acting.
I had no idea that was her.
Yeah. A lot of people say that she lost her looks when she did that nose job.
Yeah, obviously. Unrecognizable. I mean, it's not like she looks
bad.
bad.
I've seen worse.
It's not like she looks bad. It's not that she looks bad.
No.
It's just like you look unrecognizable. You've totally. You could go walk amongst people. You're like one of the big 80s celebrities, and you get this nose job, and now no one even recognizes you. It's crazy.
I still recognize the smile a little bit, and the way her eyes go all tiny when she smiles. I still recognize that a little bit.
Northern. It wasn't that she lost her looks because what she intended to happen was very successful. But at the end of the day, an actor trades on their pedigree of the stuff that they've done to date, and she was a star. When she changed her look and became unrecognizable, she was no longer the star that she had created. That's why she got dropped by her agent, and basically her career just like vanished overnight.
Yes, it's sad though because she's a very good actress, and she proves she could be kick-ass in Red Dawn. And
I think she'll come back now that she's done this.
I hope she does.
I think so. And it's good that Eisenberg gave her a shot. Thanks for telling us that because I didn't do a quick scout of the cast list. Because I literally just finished watching this just before we went live. So,
oh wow.
Well, my final rating is 9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9. Okay,
it is a very good, charming, well-written, smartly witty film.
Well, I've got more praise for the next pick. This is also another recent movie. It just depends. I'm not sure if you've seen this one. Have you seen The Gorge?
No, Wes has been talking about it nonstop.
Okay, well, we're about to talk about it some more. I saw it today. had it on in the background while I was working, actually had to stop work on at least 4 occasions and refocus totally on the film. I had to rewind it a couple of times. I really liked it. I thought it was a really interesting story, a mishmash of some ideas from other things, sure, and there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but it's still an original story. It's not a fucking sequel. It's not a reboot. It's an original story, which was great. And the fact that there's only really I think 6 actors in the whole thing, 3 main speaking parts, but 6 actors, made it very interesting. The CGI was not distracting. The CGI worked. There's lots of it. Pretty much almost the whole film, I think, is blue screen, apart from a couple of the mountain locations. But it worked. It totally worked.
Is this doing well at the moment? Is it going quite well?
We'll have a look at the reviews in a sec, but it's literally just dropped this week. I don't want to get into too many spoilers, and I mean, The Inside Man, you're right in the sense that there could have been a better trailer made for this that told us almost nothing, but still would have made the film look interesting. Instead, we kind of got the entire setup. We got the entire first act in the trailer and a bit of the second act, and some other unnecessary things. And I really think they could have. There's a trailer to be made about this, which is a lot better than the one that we received. But it's basically about this Russian hotshot sniper and this American hotshot sniper who are given opposing posts over this gorge for east and west, and the gorge is protected by various weapons and mines and all kinds of things, and their job is to stop the creatures that live in the gorge coming out. And various things are there to assist them in doing that. And they're both posted to the place for a year. They've got to do a year's tour of duty, but things happen. I don't want to get into spoilers. I really liked Teller, and I mean, that's a nice dress, has to be said. I liked Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy. This is one of Anya Taylor-Joy's best performances, without a doubt.
Agreed.
Action scenes are good. A lot of tension. Acting's all good. Sigourney Weaver's kind of got a nothing role, but I suspect they needed her to probably get the financing for the film. Yeah. And then, they shot her role in like 2 to 3 days, maybe, tops.
Is this cinema or streaming?
Streaming.
It's streaming, but it would have been a good cinema release. It feels like a cinematic movie.
Yeah.
So
it certainly looks it by the trailer. I think I mean, certainly if this does well, you can guarantee a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really it's not really set up for a sequel.
Where there's a will.
It would have to be a sequel about the characters, I think, rather than the scenario.
Got some news for you on that one there, Lance, when you're ready.
Oh, okay, well. So Enzo hasn't seen it, Inside Man hasn't seen it. Northern, have you seen it?
Yes, I did.
My rating for this is 9 out of 10, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah. Northern.
I give it maybe a 7. I give it a 7.
Oh, wow.
It's got its flaws, but the leads do make it worth watching. They have got some good chemistry, and Miles Teller, he fucking sells it as a ex-Marine assassin, and so does she, as well as some kind of Eastern European assassin sort of spy. She's got that femme fatale thing going on.
Critic Al says he saw the trailer for this at the cinema. I wonder if that was the trailer for advertising it as streaming, or was it coming soon on the big screen? I think probably for the streaming. I like it. I do a grumpy 3 out of 10.
I do definitely feel like I've seen this movie from the trailer. I mean, it's so compacted into the trailer. I was disappointed because as soon as the trailer started, as soon as it kicked up, I thought, this doesn't look half bad. And then a few seconds later, the whole reveal came about, and I thought, oh God,
you haven't seen the film yet?
No, I may as well not see it because I've seen the trailer, I think. So
it is a little predictable.
I think you'd probably quite like it. There are some surprises, but I think you'd like it. All right, so Northern, you said it had a couple of flaws. What were they?
Yeah, there is times where you can really tell that some of the stuff is green screen. The backgrounds, obviously, they was in a studio doing it, and obviously they're surrounded by a lot of CGI, and it does kind of make me feel like I wish this was a video game. Chris Gore kind of said the same thing earlier as well, and I'm inclined to agree. But like I said, it's if you just want something a little bit unpretentious, something easy to watch with some likable actors, this is what you will get it. You will get it. Just don't go expecting anything totally new or big and extravagant. It's a nice, easy watch. I will happily watch this again. I will.
Yeah, this is a film that if I was still buying physical media in abundance, it would make the cut. I'd buy the Blu-ray.
I'll be honest with you.
I go down first.
I think the whole premise of this does sound very much like it could have been an 80s movie. It could have been
Oh,
like a Cold War
absolutely.
kind of movie.
Oh yeah, you got dodgy government conspiracies, everything. Yes. So yeah, well, I won't give it so much, but you probably might have guessed it, or you probably will have guessed it later on.
I mean, it definitely owes a lot to Aliens.
Don't forget Resident
I
Evil.
just finished watching Aliens Expanded yesterday.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it in a bit. You know, but this you could see the influence in the filmmaker from that. But yeah, I thought it was good. So Northern, you gave it 7, yeah?
Yeah.
Toxic, your view before we move on.
Just real brief. I just like I got to see the short trailer that didn't give anything away. It came on when I went to the movies, and I was just really intrigued by it. And I didn't.
Oh, you saw it on the big screen?
I saw the trailer on the big screen. Yeah, Critical Owl did. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. And
it's
then
weird that they're doing streaming service trailers. Was this like in the pre-show when they're showing Coca-Cola commercials and stuff? Okay,
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, they've been doing that in the UK for some time. Actually,
that makes more sense. I thought like during the previews of the that would have been weird. You know, coming soon, a movie on Apple. Well, you know,
I think we've had one in the UK that was like that. That was in the trailer section.
That's weird.
Yeah, was strange.
But yeah, I thought it looked cool, and I did a things I'm looking forward to in 2025 show back in November, December, and this was on the list. And luckily, it popped up on my Plex Pass, and I took a look at it right away, and then just watched it again as soon as I was pretty much done with it because I was kind of half asleep when I started it, and I turned it back on and fully engaged in it. I just like stuff that it's got flaws certainly, but I really like stuff that. Like you said, Lance, it's original. It's not a reboot. It's got a good concept. The actors have good chemistry. I'm really digging Miles Teller lately and the stuff that he does.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I have more stuff. He needs to do more stuff. He's fucking good. He really is.
I have a soft spot when they get the military shit right. When they get it right, I really dig it. I mean, maybe that's petty, but and then with the whole he's very taciturn. He's very subdued in this performance, and I like it. He kind of gave off some kind of Charles Bronson vibes. Not to trigger you, Gary, but just kind of just the good side, the good stuff where he's very yeah.
You can tell Tox is a writer using words like taciturn. Now we don't get words like that on this stream.
Thank you. And I've not been a big fan of Anya Taylor-Joy up to this point. I did like the New Mutants, which a lot of people didn't like, and I thought she was the best thing in it. But this, I really dug her in it. I like that little backstory. I do wish that they had kept the reveal out, pushed it back a little farther back, made it a little bit more spooky. But I always liked the idea of like military up against something supernatural or whatever. Because that's always the first thing I think of when I watch a suspense horror movie. I'm like, dude, where's the guns? Get some guns, and that solves like 90% of the problem. And then you can just write other stuff. So I really liked it. I give it a not. If I could give it anything, it's not perfect, so I got to go just like 9 out of 10. But I really enjoyed it.
What about this guy? He was actually pretty good. I know he was just an exposition dump, but he sells the fucking
Is this guy? Is he in other stuff? I liked him.
So I think his name's Sophie. something or other.
He had that
he's been in a couple of things, but yeah, he was really good. I thought he was in June for a minute, but that's
so did I think that. Yeah, I kind of thought that's where I might have known him from. I still would have thought that if he didn't say anything different. Yeah, he has that very unflattering task of doing like
the handover,
the handover, and the big exposition dump, and he did it pretty well. And I like it. I liked it for what it was. So yeah, great film.
Yeah, good. So that's a recommendation for The Gorge from us on the Nielsen ranks for the benefit of the people watching. From one recommendation to perhaps not, Stupenzo, you're going to tell us all about what you thought of the new Captain America. We don't normally do superhero stuff on here, but Stupenzo went to see it, so we didn't have to.
I mean, I'm not the only one who saw it.
I am shocked you went and saw it, to be honest with you.
I saw a crappy cam version online. It was, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. It's funny because, apparently the movie went through lots of reshoots, and I don't know what was taken out or added in. I am not familiar with most of the MCU stuff past Endgame, and I definitely found myself asking a lot of, who is this and what is happening? It was something I found myself am I supposed to know who this person is? There's a lot of that. And then I find other people's reviews and they're like, no, we didn't know who this person was either. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. And everything that's already been said. I mean, the thing is this idea that it's the worst movie ever. It's just it's not, it's just kind of boring and uneventful for a Marvel superhero movie, which is not good. And yeah, it's more of an Incredible Hulk sequel than a Captain America sequel. And like I said, Red Hulk and the Leader, these are clearly Hulk villains. But even without the comic books, comparing it to the comic books, I mean, Anthony Mackie is no leading man. And, it's just all the promotional materials leading up to this Red Hulk. I mean, the thing about the comics, first of all, the Leader is the Hulk's Lex Luthor. He's the main bad guy for the Hulk. Yeah. And then one of the things about the Red Hulk that's so cool is you don't know who the Red Hulk is. It's a big reveal about that. It's actually Thunderbolt Ross. I don't know. And people saying, "Oh, Harrison Ford did pretty good in this." No, I disagree. I think he's just phoning it in like he always does. He's an old man, and I mean, he didn't have a lot to work with, but still, I mean,
you can tell from the interviews with him, he just didn't care. He was there for the paycheck, very obviously.
Yeah.
My family back.
He did a Scotch commercial, a whiskey commercial.
Yeah.
That's the best thing he's done.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was going to say exactly that.
I don't know. Yeah, this movie was just who cares? That's kind of just how I felt about it. There's just a lot of, and I understand, I appreciated the fact that the movie didn't go way too nuts in terms of what's happening. They tried to, pull back a little, be a little more reserved, make it more of a mystery movie, but it just, it just doesn't resonate. There was something about the first batch of Marvel movies where, you didn't have to watch the other ones to understand what was going on.
Yeah.
If you did, you kind of got little extra tidbits here and there and little Easter eggs, but it wasn't essential. And, and also the thing is, you didn't have to watch all these dumb shows, I never watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that's the thing is most of the big gripes are what they should have done compared to the comic books. Obviously Bucky Barnes should be the next Captain America. Obviously Red Hulk's identity should be a mystery. Obviously the Leader should be the Hulk's main villain. Just when you take all that out, it's just still just adamantium is being shown. We're talking about how adamantium is being introduced into the MCU before the mutant gene. That's just weird to me. And also what else was someone saying on one of these shows talking about how the little girl who's Black Widow character. She's kicking everyone's ass. Like they were saying, if you had explained that she's a mutant, that would have been great. That would have been a great way to like put the mutants into the X-Men, or to the Marvel universe. Cause I know that's like a big thing they're trying to get ready for, the mutants. We're going to start working our way back to the X-Men full circle. I don't know, man. Captain Falcon, whatever his name is, Captain Soldier, Captain whatever. It's just not doing it for me. I don't know. I just kind of tuned out years ago.
But you watched it.
I did just because I knew everyone else was watching it.
What would you give it out of 10?
I don't know, a 4.
I feel that's
Generous.
ridiculously high.
Generous.
Anyone else? Anyone else seen it?
Yeah,
No,
I think we've all seen it, Lance.
I haven't seen it.
we've seen it all before.
Oh,
Facts. No, I saw it. I went to the theater and saw it.
all right. What would you give it out of 10?
1.
One.
And lucky to have that. It's terrible. It's so bad. It's like if the Bounce Channel made a MCU movie. It's horrible. It's so bad.
Yeah, I saw Drinker's review, and that was all I needed. I didn't need to see anything else.
Yeah, don't waste it. You don't waste your time, or if you knew it was going to be bad when the Marvel cinematic scroll didn't pop up in the beginning. That's when you knew you were already in trouble.
That seems to be the case with every one of these Marvel movies now. It's always reshoots and then a lot of plot threads with no context to make you wonder what the fuck is happening. So it's been the same case with all these movies.
That's exactly what you get when you start off without a script and you you sacrifice story for release dates.
Yeah, story for release dates and contracts and all of that stuff.
Yeah, well, at least our American cousins have taken a bullet for the team. So
yeah,
so thank you guys for that. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
I'm still wondering, why have they just started to do something with the leader when they could have done this like maybe 10 years ago?
They've run out of villains. They wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, it's it is what it is.
Yeah, apparently they don't fuck all with him either, do they? It's
No.
I saw diversifying slightly before we move on. I saw Drink did a production hell video today. Don't know if you guys have seen it. Oh my god!
I listened to it on my way back to town today.
That's one of the best production hell vids he's ever done. It's on the Critical Drinkers channel, and it's on that. What was the name of the film talks?
God, what is the name of that movie? The Blake Lively movie.
Blake Lively, and
The End of Us.
The End of Us, right?
Oh,
yeah.
right,
Well, I mean, which is aptly named because it may well turn out to be the end of both their careers.
Oh, they're done. Yeah, they're like, there's going to have to be like 30 more Deadpool movies in order to pay this guy off all the money he's going to make off of these two.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I mean, it was the guy's project. Blake Lively came in as the star. She was too old to play the character anyway, based on the book. And it was his project. And then she kept rewriting her lines. She also insisted she fired the wardrobe department and picked out all her own costumes. And I have to say, they look ridiculous. But yeah, watch that Drinker video. It's fantastic. It's yeah, they're going to proper be gunning for him now after that one, for sure. But I one of the things that I thought was really comes across is with these people that are throwing their weight about on sets and rewriting their lines and doing this and doing that and firing departments and what have you. Your job as an actor is to arrive on time, know your lines, hit your mark.
Yeah,
do
not
your
bump into the furniture
when you say action. Yeah.
She's probably trying to catch up with Ryan Reynolds because he's the fucking star out of them both, isn't he?
Well, I mean, his involvement is a whole other topic, but
yeah, and he fucking got involved when he shouldn't have as well.
No, yeah, absolutely, and at the end of the day, it was somebody else's project. It was not her project. It's an honor to star in anything. no matter how high up the ladder you are. So, turn up, do your lines. If you sign on to do a project, you do it on the basis of the script as written. I like the script. Good. Okay. Because somebody wrote that script. That person isn't going to tell you how to act on the set. Don't tell them how to write either.
I think what it seems. I think what it seems to be, it's not a new thing. I mean, it's the kind of thing that happened in old Hollywood, in the golden age of Hollywood as well. It's exactly the same kind of thing that happened, and that was, either a star producer, director would come on board. They would be basically guns for hire, but they would look at the script, look at the project, and say, right, what can I do to this to make me look even better? Which is exactly how today's Hollywood looks at things, particularly, unfortunately, the producers and the large, the highly paid executives at these huge companies. And the problem is that these people really do like the smell of their own farts just a little bit too much. They just, but they don't see it. They don't seem to understand that we don't like the smell of their farts. And that's basically it. They're so keen on projecting their own, putting their own stamp onto something. Whether it be an actor, director, or producer. Less so directors, I would say, because directors really are now, just guns for hire. But it's really executives and certain actors, certain people in the acting profession. But exactly as you say, Lance, exactly as you say. All they are there to deliver their lines and to not bump into the furniture, as Hitchcock said. That's all they're there to do. Although that is slightly demeaning to actors, to be honest with you. But it's you sign onto a project knowing exactly what that project is. You look at the script and you accept that on the basis of what's on those pages. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was incredible that she even had her co-star's name taken off the poster.
Oh, goodness
Absolutely
me.
Outrageous.
Goodness me. I mean, we know this is the kind of thing that Steve McQueen was guilty of as well.
Sure.
I mean, he wouldn't even read a script unless he was paid $1 million. He would read a script. So his wife, Neil McQueen, she would have to read the scripts for him. So they would have to pay, any studio would have to pay Steve McQueen $1 million so that he could read a script. That's before he even signed on to anything. So
I read the script reads me.
Yeah, and so it isn't a new thing, but it just, you think, for goodness sake, haven't you learned the lessons from the mistakes that others have made? That's how you're supposed to move on. This is how we move on. We don't, I'd prefer not to learn from my own mistakes. I'd rather learn from the mistakes of others. So you look at people around you, look at the people that have come before you, so you don't enter into those same pitfalls and traps and dark alleys that they have gone through. But they just don't learn. They do not learn. And this is what ego does for you. When you have somebody that doesn't know what, or doesn't understand what the word no means.
Yeah, it's all of this stuff that you guys are saying is right on the money, but it's much, much more sinister than what's been being portrayed. This is, and I'll say right here, it's somebody made a, whether joking or serious, a hard pass at somebody, and that person rebuked them, and then what followed is, just basic war. And back in 2020, I remember, I don't know who said it, but somebody was talking on YouTube or whatever, saying that this pendulum where everybody's all these men have been put on the back foot because of what weirdo Weinstein did. That pendulum is going to swing the other way, and it's going to have disastrous results. And that's what we're seeing with Blake Lively, with Amber Heard. This stuff is like, the free ride is over.
Yeah,
So
that
and
absolutely right. Absolutely right. Because when you see all this kind of nonsense occurring, rather than using common sense and approaching it with a common sense point of view, you have to go so far in the other direction in order to counteract that. But now what's happening is that there is a counteraction to the counteraction. So and it's really swinging hard. So
yeah.
yeah, you're absolutely right on that front. Absolutely right. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But I guarantee you, at some point in the future, there is going to be a drama series about this with two people playing these two characters.
Who bets you Ryan Reynolds will divorce after this?
Well, yeah, who knows? I wouldn't wish divorce on my worst enemy, but
I wouldn't. But I have a feeling that's going to happen because this is going to cause some animosity between them and Ryan Reynolds, because Ryan Reynolds is kind of this is going to ruin Ryan Reynolds as well.
I don't think it's going to do his career any favors. No, he's come because he always used to come across as such a nice guy. Yeah. Now he's come across as a bit of a bully.
Oh yeah.
So
little Will Smith energy happening here with this.
Yeah.
You should definitely defend your partner, no doubt. But listen, man, as someone says in the chat, I mean, this guy Baldoni, he has the receipts. You can't. We don't live in an age anymore of he said, she said. People, if you text somebody and send some message or do something, or people have they can go right back to it and say that's not what you said. So I mean, this is really the smart play right now. I'll tell you, my nickel's worth of free advice would be for them to extend an olive branch and just say, listen, let's do a project together. We're so very sorry. Things got out of hand. I mean, it's all bullshit, but just say, this was a lot of misunderstandings. Please forgive us. Here's a few million, under the table. And then, let me finance your next 3 films. That would be the smart play. But she's doubled and tripled down on this.
Well, unfortunately, female A-list actress ego is quite large, and don't.
Is she an A-lister in your opinion, Lance?
No, she's married to one, so she thinks she is.
Facts.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's not the road to take. I think your suggestion is, quite frankly, is would be the way to go. Stupenzo, do you have anything to add on this?
No.
I need to go and edit my video. Okay. I think, Stupenzo, I think we can let you go because I don't think you've seen any of the other things we're going to cover. And I know you've got a... But, hey, you don't have to go, dude. But I know you said you had some stuff you had to do.
All right. I'll see y'all later. Oh, I also watched. I did watch "Kind of Pregnant" with Amy Schumer. That was.
Oh yeah, you got to let's give us a movie. We'll do that before you go. Let's do that.
Okay.
No.
Why are you bringing this woman up? Please don't.
Yeah, you know what? I've nearly watched this film several times because it's come up on.
It only made me crack like one smile one time. It was not good.
Okay, so it's not a recommendation.
No, but. That's all I'll say about it. It wasn't good. Don't bother.
What would you rate it out of 10?
I don't know, man. 2, 3. It's not good.
Inside Man, I know you're a big fan of the Schumer. Did you sit down and watch this one?
I did not.
Okay. All right.
No.
I used to be a big fan of Amy Schumer. Believe it or not, back in 2016, I really liked Amy Schumer back then.
I love that film she did with John Cena. I like the film she did with John Cena where she's dating John Cena and John Cena's secretly gay and
Trainwreck. Well, not too secretly gay, but
no, he's like that with them making out, and he's like, he starts talking about the guys in the locker room or something, and then he's
how she looks like a dude. Yeah, I thought you looked like a dude.
Even LeVon James was actually funny in it as well.
Yeah, no, that's a cute movie, but everything's been downhill since then. I even have her mentioned in my book which I nothing to be done for it now, really. But yeah, man, I used to really be a big fan of hers. I used to listen to her stand up, and but boy, she has fallen off. I think the woke liberalism got into her too much. I mean, she is Senator Schumer's niece or some shit. So
really,
yeah,
oh
yeah. Yeah.
It all makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, this was like a what was it, an Adam Sandler Happy Madison production, and
oh wow,
I was expecting like at least a couple stupid laughs, but the plot is totally stupid. Plot is like, there's just all the holes and just like the premise alone. But yeah, on top of that, it's just not funny. It just wasn't landing. None of the jokes. And yeah, Amy Schumer, she is a bit mannish looking. It's just it's one of those things where yeah, I mean, kind of like Sarah Silverman, like she got famous for being raunchy and offensive, and then all of a sudden that's not cool, so she has to do a hard pivot, but now that's not cool, so she's trying to like pivot back to being offensive, and I don't know, it's just like we don't care anymore.
No.
Yeah, the reviews for this are on IMDb are not complimentary.
Well, the plot is simple. Like she's always wanted to have a baby and be a mom, and of course she's struggling with relationships. And her sister or best friend, I can't remember, is now pregnant. And I don't know. She basically finds that she puts on a pregnancy pillow bump, whatever the hell it is. The fake pregnancy
the fake bump.
She puts on one of those and gets like different reactions from people and just likes the way it makes her feel. So she just starts, wearing one of those. And then she goes to like a pregnancy Lamaze class and meets some other fellow pregnant lady, and they become friends. And then she starts hooking up with her brother-in-law or something, her friend, which is weird in itself. The fact that you're, I'm meeting a girl who's single and like several months pregnant, and I'm going to be, sexually involved with her. That's like a whole nother can of worms. That's just weird. And I don't know. It's just a weird plot. And I don't know. Very, very underwhelming. Like I said, it could have had an opportunity to just go, you could have gone hard into the ridiculous, R-rated, extremely raunchy style humor, and maybe this could have been better. But yeah, it's just trying to play it safe. Well, it's trying to appease everybody,
Yeah, and thus appeases no one. We have reviews from Unbelievably Bad, a depressing movie for depressing times, terrible movie, a complete waste of time, another dumb American comedy. Funny light, what I needed. I don't understand the bad comments. The movie is funny, cute, light movie. Finally, a romantic comedy.
Well,
not a romantic.
Clearly, a bunch of misogynist MAGA people are bashing her for her political problems. That's obviously what's happening here.
It's I think it's just not a good script. I saw about 5 minutes of it. And I thought this is not going to be amusing, so I turned it off. So I think I made the best decision. Stupenzo, do you want to plug anything before you go?
Yes, tomorrow on my channel, we're going to be watching the 1991 movie Whore.
Is that the Ken Russell one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
the
actually
best,
a pretty good
movie. Best tagline of any movie. Whore. If you can't say it, just see it.
Oh yeah. There was another good catch tagline for that movie. But yeah, it's funny because it was one of the better movies we've watched on the channel. But yeah, I think I managed to sneak a full-length commentary past the copyright bots.
Nice.
I wouldn't be surprised if this movie gets taken down later after the fact, and I maybe have to edit it, but I don't know. I uploaded it in full just to see if it worked, and it did. But then I tried to upload it in full without the overlay, and it didn't work. So
that's weird.
So it's gonna have a full overlay, a lot of overlay logos and stuff, which doesn't really impede on the viewing experience of us, joking about the movie. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it got manually claimed. What's interesting is it did get claimed by LDS, which is like a bogus, they copyright claim a bunch of crap they don't own. So I feel like even if it does get a claim in a block, I might be able to dispute it and the video might stay up. We'll see. But watch it tomorrow because there's no guarantee it'll stay up. So yeah, it's a fun movie. And I think we were pretty funny experiencing that movie.
Dudicus do that with you?
It was me, Dudicus, and my cousin. Yeah, so it was a while.
Do you have a do you want to whack on the link to your channel quickly? Pop it up in the one of my mods can do it, or
no, I got it. I can do it right now. Let's see here. What am I doing here? There we go. Copy.
What am I doing here on the Nielsen ratings?
Copy, paste, send. All right, there you go, guys. Go check it out. I think I got, how many subs do I have now? I keep hovering over 543. I get a couple more, and then it takes away a couple, and then I get a couple more, and it takes away a couple. But yeah, I did a really funny live stream yesterday. I think I said the word gay more than any other live stream ever. I think I said gay like 5,000 times because we were watching the first episode of a show called Playing It Straight, which was a failed reality show from 2004.
Yeah.
It's like a dating show where you've got a girl who's got to pick a guy, 14 guys. But what she doesn't realize is some, maybe many, there's undercover gay dudes in the bunch. And if she picks a straight guy, if her final candidate is a straight man, they both split $1 million. But if she picks a guy and he's actually secretly gay, then the gay guy gets $1 million, and she gets
that's a good concept for a show.
It's actually pretty insane. And we're all like, oh, this guy's definitely gay. This guy's definitely gay. Oh, this guy's definitely gay. She gets rid of 2 guys, and we're like, these two guys are definitely gay. And they're both revealed like, nope, we were straight. And it's like, oh no. So it's just having me like, second guess everything and question my my homophobic stereotypes and stuff. It's quite a show.
Your gaydar.
It's
my
easy
gaydar's
to
all
develop
off.
those on this channel. So,
but yeah, check out that live stream from yesterday. That was fun. And yeah, I do the occasional live streams and get weird. So,
okay. And
all right,
when is your next swimming pool superhero wrestling extravaganza?
possibly, Sunday after the Gooch and Gang show, Monday morning, Sunday night, Monday around midnight. But we usually don't get to that until about 3 or 4 in the morning. But you can always watch those after the fact. And I think the next, pool party when we watch nothing but the swimming pool episodes is probably going to be the next time some big Superman news drops. So we don't know. Next time a new trailer drops, probably we'll do a big marathon of those weird, perverted, simulated drowning kink videos. It's quite a thing. There's dark recesses of YouTube that I brave to go and expose you all to. It's kind of a common thread on my show. So,
yeah, Enzo goes deeper than others of us can't quite breathe,
and wider. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you all later.
Sounds gay.
Sounds gay. It's pretty gay. All right, guys.
All right.
I'll take it.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Well, let's go deep and wide into Cobra Kai. Which Inside Man's favorite show. Now, I have to say that when this transferred to Netflix, I did feel that there was a bit of a drop in. I really liked it when it was on YouTube. It transferred over to Netflix, and then it kind of got a bit almost too kitschy. But I thought, I'll carry on with it. And then I got to like season 4, and shit was happening, like, divorces and breakups and stuff. So season 5 came out, but I was preoccupied with other shit. And then the first part of season 6 came out, and I thought, season 6 begins tomorrow. Now, I wonder if I just watched the recap for season 5, if I feel I really need to go back and watch season 5. Let me test that theory. And I watched the recap, and I was straight into season 6, and I thought, yeah, do you know what? I'm quite happy not to go back and watch that season. So I've seen all of this except for season 5. I've not seen any of season 5. And having got to the end of the journey, I don't feel like I've missed anything. So that's just me being brutally honest. Dealing with season 6, part 3, because season 6 is in 3 parts. It's the last 5 episodes. What's really great about this show, what I really love about it, is that the finality and the ultimate narrative. This is not Daniel's story. This is Johnny's story. And even though, they're shelling equal billing, ultimately, this is not just the story of Johnny's redemption, but it's also the story of him redeeming the mantle of Cobra Kai. And I thought the final episode was absolutely brilliant. I thought it was superb. And then our Johnny Lawrence guy, he has a scene with Kreese in the final episode, and where he confronts him over the scene at the what is at the beginning of Karate Kid 2, but was originally supposed to be the ending of Karate Kid 1. That was when it was filmed, and it's the fight after the match where Kreese basically slaps him about and smashes his trophy and so on, and then Mr. Miyagi comes along and sorts him out, and he talks about how that moment affected him, and he's in tears when he's telling him, and it's a really, really good piece of acting, and it's a really, really powerful moment, and you really feel for him, and that whole narrative becomes very believable, even though in the rest of the show is covered in cheese. It's like a cheeseburger whammy with extra cheese and cheese buns covered with cheese. But there are moments like that are so good. And then the final scene with Daniel and Johnny Lawrence sitting in this whatever it is, a cafe or something, and Daniel's trying to catch the flies with the chopsticks, slowly, like Mr. Miyagi. The lesson is in what you're doing, not so much what you're achieving. And then Johnny comes along and just goes and kills the fly swats the fly with his hand and goes, got it, right, let's and it cuts the credits. That's just such a brilliant ending, because it just sums up the two differences between the two characters and why now they effectively work together. I thought it was genius. There's loads of other good stuff I could talk about as well, but there was one thing that didn't. There's the Kreese's finale and with Terry Silver on the boat. That was all a bit. That felt like that was in another movie. I felt like we were in Miami Vice all of a sudden. But I liked it, and I would give the last 5 episodes, I'd give them sort of an overall 8 out of 10, but I would give the final episode 10 out of 10. Knew exactly what it was, rounded off all the narratives really well. Actually, maybe not 10, 9 because of the boat scene, because I think the boat scene is in the last episode. It might be maybe it's in the episode before the last episode. I forget.
Yeah, because it ended on that little incident before it moved on to the final.
Did it? Okay, right. So I'll give the final episode 10 then. But it was good, and I really liked it. You could do a really good edit of this series, and you could create, like, if somebody sat down in an edit suite and took this whole show, they could edit like 3 or 4 really good Cobra Kai movies that would be great to watch in the cinema. Liked it. What did you think of it, Northern?
It kind of does make season 6 worth sitting through. I mean, the series could have been condensed to maybe a few episodes that were an hour long, because there was a lot of stuff that was drawn out. Some of the soap opera stuff with the teenagers could have been caught a little bit, but the final just really makes it. I mean, it kind of does bring everything together. I mean, like you said, Kreese's redemption with Johnny is really heartwarming, and it's heartbreaking as well to see these two kind of finally make up, and Creasy kind of gets to redeem himself from his psychotic behavior, because he obviously was a good guy, but he was in Vietnam as well. Of course he's traumatized, and it drove him a little bit on the brink of madness a bit.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that Johnny gets to sort of be the champion this time, and it's Daniel. It's Daniel who teaches him. Daniel is his sensei.
I know, that was great. I loved all that
as well. Who would have
Loved all
kind of thought that would happen over 40 years after the first movie?
I was waiting for Johnny to do the crane in that scene. I'm kind of glad he didn't. He did his own thing.
Yeah.
But he did that jab punch, didn't he? Which is what we see him being taught, like right at the beginning. Yeah, I mean, it was good. Critical's giving it a 9 out of 10. Good to see you back around, Critical, by the way. But yeah, I did like it. Inside Man, you've not seen it, I don't think.
I haven't seen a single episode of this. So
you gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch it. It's so crazy, but it really is good. It's
you know what you could do? You could watch the first and last episode of each season, and that'll probably be enough.
Or not.
Oh no! or I'll watch some.
You're gonna have to watch
Italian,
it. Watch it.
I'll watch some Italian cannelloni crime drama.
No, you're right. There you go.
It is nostalgia bait, but it's nostalgia bait done right.
Yeah, this is. I have to say, it is kind of it's member-berry packed, but it in the best possible way. It absolutely works, because that whole chopstick scene with the fly at the end is basically saying, "Here's a member-berry." And then here's Johnny coming along and smashing that and saying, no, we're doing it my way now.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Loved it.
But it does evolve the characters, though. It gives them something that happened to them years later that makes sense to them, and just kind of evolves them. It gives them more conflictions. I mean, we could have had the Mr. Miyagi used to be a criminal and removed, because it didn't really pay off, did it? It was just kind of...
No, I didn't think we needed that. That was part of the season that I kind of skipped. I thought I caught bits of it.
I don't think we needed to see a CGI Mr. Miyagi. We could have just had a body double and just shot from the back, not see his face, and have a good impersonator do all the voice, and that's it.
You see, I mean, I do like the idea of this show. I really do. And I loved particularly the first Karate Kid film. I thought it was a really good movie. I don't know. I mean, I'm one of these people that I'll wait until something has sort of fallen out of favor and everybody's forgotten about it before I'd actually go back and start watching something. So I'll let it gather a bit of dust first.
Sure.
Before I go and watch it.
I think it's a show that, because it's not woke, I think it's a show that will probably age quite well. Hey, it's me in HD, who's someone I've not seen in the chat before. If you're new to my channel, thank you for giving your time and subscribing if you have done. No spoilers, but that scene between Kreese and Johnny in episode 13 was epic. I think I talked about that, mate, just before you came in the chat. The acting was it's the best acting William Zabaka I've ever seen him do. And he really went for it, and he put his whole character narrative into that speech, and he's crying, and it was so well done. I don't know how many. I'd like to know. If I had him on as a guest, I'd say, how many takes did you do for that? But it's a really good piece of acting, and I loved it.
It does also bring context to the characters. It kind of makes you realize, I get why Kreese is the way he is. I get why Terry Silver is the way he is. And Terry Silver, he was fun in season 5, man. I'm not gonna lie, he just went full on diabolical nut job. But it kind of
I mean, he was a bit pantomime. He was a bit pantomime villain, wasn't he? But that's fine.
But it does make the sequels worth watching now. I mean, they were fine, but you could have watched the first one and not missed anything with the sequels. But this makes the sequels work.
Yeah, it's good. It's a fun watch. And I really, it was better than I thought it was going to be, because it shouldn't
have been good. It shouldn't have been good.
No, it shouldn't have been. It didn't have any right to be as good as it was, because as a show, it did sag a bit. It got a bit bloated in the middle. Each season kind of justified itself, I think, except for season 5. but it was great the way all the past characters had come back in. It was such a shame that Chad McQueen. I think the main reason Chad McQueen didn't come back is because in 2020 he had a back injury, so he wasn't able to do anything too physical. I think because he was really into racing cars and stuff like his dad. And I don't know how he got the back injury. It might have been, doing that kind of stuff, but he got a back injury, and that caused him other health issues. And of course, we lost him towards the end of last year, and he died relatively young. I mean, not much older. I think around the same age as his dad, actually. I can't remember how old Steve McQueen was when he died. He wasn't in his wasn't he in his 40s?
I think it was in his 50s, wasn't he? I think it was about 55, was he?
Was he?
Like
Yeah, he wasn't in his 60s, was he?
No.
And the one thing for me that was missing from it was Chad McQueen, and I know that they'd said he was in prison, but if he hadn't had that happen and he was willing to come back to the show, and I'm sure he probably would have done. What would have been great in the last season, the great twist with him would have been suddenly he turns up and he's there on Terry Silver's team in the final match. That would have been great, and maybe Johnny has to fight him. That would have been great as well. Yeah. So Steve McQueen died at 50. Age 50.
That's 50.
Okay, Chad died at 63. Wow.
Oh,
it's hard
blimey.
to believe that the Cobra Kai members are in their 60s.
Yeah, we had another one of Johnny's friends die in season 2 as well. And he died for real because he had an episode dedicated to him reuniting with his old gang.
Yeah, Rob Garrison knew he had terminal cancer when they asked him to come back. And I think it was partly Rob Garrison's idea that he said, listen, let's make it part of my storyline. And you had that whole thing where, the last scene you see of him is him being zipped up in a body bag. That was fucking tragic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that line that he shouts, send him home in a body bag, man. Yeah, that wasn't in the script. That was improvised. He just shouted that out. And they kept it in. So yeah, but yeah, I got to give it a strong rating. It was good stuff. Tox, did you see it? Hey, Gord King's here. Let me know if you want to come in, Gord. I'll send you the link.
We lost Northern.
Yeah, we've lost Northern. Sorry. He's coming back. There he is.
Yeah, just cut off for a second there. I don't know what happened there.
I think you went beyond the wall. So, Toxic, did you see Cobra Kai at all? Or what,
yeah. Started watching it in 2020, I guess, during the pandemic.
So have you seen all of season 6?
I have indeed.
What did you think of the last few episodes?
At the risk of getting bounced out of your stream, it was quite a slog to get through. It was.
We've lost Toxic. Oh no, I don't know what's going on this evening. Sorry, we lost you there for a second. You were saying it was brilliant and sheer genius, I think.
I did not. I'm sorry, Lance. It's the same. It really. Oh, it was rough getting. I just finished it about an hour before we went live today. And
did you watch all of season 6 in one go, or are you just talking about the last part?
All in one go. Yeah.
I've
been kind of snowed in.
On that basis, I would agree with you. But I did find the last few episodes I thought were pretty riveting.
I didn't at all. No. They just kept playing the same plot points and the same stuff over and over and over again. The whole "not now, kiddo" and the whole conversation we shouldn't have had or should have gambit that they do with this show. I was getting whiplash from it. I was getting fatigued. I was like, man, and then the member berries thing. I'm not a big fan of member berries, and when it's like, oh, this random thug is gonna kidnap you. Oh, he's the guy from Karate Kid 3 that was in for 5 seconds. Remember? I was like, man, you guys are doing too much. The first couple seasons are very charming and I hung in there 3 and 4. 5, I kind of fell off a little bit, like you did, Lance. But I did catch up to it. I knew we were going to talk about it. Somebody sent the drinker like a $50. One of our friends of our channel sent the drinker a $50 super chat saying he had, asking me and Luke and Blue Collar to get on with the drinker and do a deep dive. So I was like, well, man, on the off chance that he actually asks, let me do this.
Well, he's apparently, I've already had a conversation with him about it because I've got loads to say about it. And he said he's going to do a open bar on Cobra Kai.
That makes sense. And there's a lot. I don't want to sound too, because there's a lot to really love and like about this show, but this show really overstayed its welcome. I may wind up doing a video on it myself, just talking about shows that on certain streaming services. And I get it.
It definitely could have been a season less. I will agree with
maybe
that.
even 2, maybe.
But it did have Elizabeth Berkley in one of the episodes of the final 5.
Yeah, that
alone should be enough to entice the inside man.
Yeah, that might do it.
Yeah, there you go. So good to focus on the important things.
Yeah.
To hell with the story.
Okay, well, look, we'll move on from Cobra Kai. I'd like to know, there's 18 people watching. Thanks very much for tuning in. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. But do tell us in the chat, what would you give the final part of season 6? Overall, what would you give it out of 10? Or you can rate the final episode out of 10 for Cobra Kai. From a highly rated show to a truly torturous experience. We mainly, as I've said before, we mainly focus on stuff that we like, stuff we want to recommend you. But I do feel occasionally I do have a certain duty to avoid, to tell you to avoid certain films. This would be one of those. So I asked my panel to try and watch this before this show, because actually I'd seen it was trending at #1 on Netflix. I saw the trailer and I thought, it looks okay. Die Hard on a bridge. I kind of, looks all right. Got about 15 minutes in and I was like, yeah, I don't think this is going to be very good. And I'm not sure about the acting in this thing. And the guy who plays the main villain, man, he is chewing the scenery so hard that he has left bite marks in literally every piece of it. But it's basically, a guy, I can't remember if it's older brother and his sister, or if it's dad and daughter. But anyway, 2 people that are related, an older dude and a girl. They're traveling on this bridge. Ahead of them is this kind of van that's transporting a prisoner who's got the only decent actor in the entire movie playing the prisoner. I'll show you who she is in just a second. Maybe she asked for her image to be removed from the poster because she's not on it, and she should be because she's a bigger star than these guys. This guy's trying to look like Paul Walker on this poster, but he does not look anything like Paul Walker. But they've given him a Paul Walker haircut so that he looks a bit like Paul Walker.
Do you know who that is, Lance?
I think it's Dylan Sprouse, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the little kid from the Adam Sandler film.
Right. Well, there's a lot of Adam Sandler movies. There's a lot that I haven't seen. Well, anyway. Big Daddy. Okay. Yeah, haven't seen that one. So the action, there's some fights that are okay, like some hand-to-hand fighting that is okay. But you kind of got this command bus right in the center of the bridge, and they put a sniper on top of it. And it's like, and this sniper constantly, I shit you not, this sniper constantly stands up to turn around and reposition him to face the other direction so he can check what the police are doing at the end of the bridge. And then he'll stand up again and he'll sort of turn around and reface the other direction to try and take out the Bruce Willis character. And I'm thinking, like, maybe you should have put 2 snipers up there so you could have one facing each direction. And the film's clearly got quite a tight budget, because you think the team taking the bridge is actually pretty big, but then you realize actually it's only about 7 people, because they clearly couldn't afford any more speaking roles than that. The blue screen stuff in it is truly awful. Yeah, it's a bad movie. I mean, you could watch this with a load of mates with a pizza and take the piss out of it, but it's a bad film. And the acting is absolutely dire. The one person in it who's pretty good, what she's doing in it, I don't know. I've seen her in a few things, is this actress, Deechan Lackman. She's been in quite a few kind of action movies. She was in Altered Carbon, which I thought was a really good, underrated show, actually. And she's done a few other kind of action roles. She's got this very sort of interesting face. Looks great on camera, but she can actually act. You know, she's actually pretty good in the movie. Like I said, she's the person in the truck who's, you need to do better, Senator. That's one of those moments, isn't it?
Oh, God.
But these are just pictures of her from Supergirl. I think she's the villain in Supergirl.
So is the villain in this movie, Lance, is it that guy Mason Gooding?
Yeah, he's terrible. Can't act.
They are trying. He must be somebody's nephew or something, because he is in everything in the last few years.
He is
all over the place.
He is truly, truly terrible in Aftermath. I mean, he basically, now look, might not be down to him. The director might, and I haven't seen him in enough other stuff to comment about his overall performance as an actor in his career. But somebody said to him, I just want you to play this guy as over the top crazy as possible.
Yeah.
And you know when Gary Oldman in Leon goes, everyone, like that,
Yeah.
He's doing the whole movie at that level.
Oh, God.
So imagine a villain playing that the whole way through.
No shit, Lance. Since October, I have seen him in no less than 9 movies since October.
Wow.
I'm sure I checked out his credits, and I don't remember thinking, you know, why. I was sort of thinking, why is this guy? Let's have a quick look. So Mason Gooding. So he's the. Is he the son of Cuba Gooding Jr.? Is that right?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's the son of Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, well, then there's your answer then.
Yeah. So, and he's been in some Scream films.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's unstabbable. Spoiler alert. He can't be killed with a knife, apparently, because he gets stabbed in every one of the Scream movies. He was just in Heart Eyes recently. He was in Y2K.
Right.
I mean, he's just popping up all over the.
I mean, I haven't seen much of his other work. I think I saw Moonshot. Is he good? Is he any good in the other stuff?
No, he is not.
Right. Okay. I'll
He's
talk
just
you about.
consistent.
Yeah.
Nepo baby, big time.
Yeah. So I have to say, in Aftermath, the performance is as one of the worst villains ever. We have a question from John. Question for the panel. If money was no object, what would be your dream mosque for your town or neighborhood? Dream as big as you can, guys. I don't have to dream about it. There is a mosque within 400 meters of my apartment. I have no issue with it. Fortunately, it's not connected to any issues or whatever. There is the Finsbury Park Mosque, which is not that far from me as well, which has had a bit of a checkered past and was at one point was associated with, wasn't it? Inside Man, wasn't it Abu Hamza or something?
Yes, I believe so. Finsbury Park, yeah.
But they've gone out of their way to disassociate themselves from that sort of thing. But
my dream mosque would be the Grand Mosque in Kairouan, Tunisia. And it's beautiful. It's really quite something. Kairouan is a walled city in Tunisia.
That's a good response.
And it was the location for Raiders of the Lost Ark. That it doubled up for Cairo.
Oh yeah, okay.
And in fact, Cairo 1 in Arabic actually does mean Little Cairo, so it's Cairo 1.
That was my troll question. Yeah, but this is the Outcast Creative channel. If you ask us a literal question, we'll give you a literal answer.
We will
right,
answer.
yeah.
I'm going to ask my special guest, what would his dream mosque be? The Gourd King.
Hello.
Hey.
Where and how would your dream mosque be built?
My dream mosque?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
See, it's a question for the panel. If money was no object, what would be your dream mosque for your town or neighborhood? Would it be like a pumpkin-shaped mosque, perhaps?
I mean, it would have to be. Is that so? Like a mosque? Is that like Elon Musk? Like, how does that?
No.
No. I think he means a mosque, as in where Muslims go to pray and that kind of thing. But maybe this would be a mosque for pumpkins, Muslim pumpkins. In your case, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. My with my comedic sensibilities, I don't know if I can answer this question without being mildly offensive.
Well, we don't do politics or religion here, so maybe we should move on.
We'll just say, yeah, like you said, made of pumpkin-y aftermath thingies, or carved into a pumpkin. Real nice, like.
So good, great to have you on. I haven't had you on for a while, man. It's lovely to have you on. Did you watch the last season of Cobra Kai?
I haven't yet. I think I've watched about 3 seasons of Cobra Kai so far. I do own the 4th one, so I still have some catching up to do.
If it becomes a burden, you probably can watch the first and last episode of season 5, and you'll be fine, and skip all the stuff in the middle. I managed to do that, and I was okay. If you don't want to overcommit yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to get on to my guest recommendations of the week. What shows and films have my guests been watching that they would like to recommend us? And Northern, I know you wanted to talk about Escape from New York this week, wasn't it?
Ooh.
Yes, please. I just love that movie. It's so bonkers. It's so schlocky, but it's kind of filmmaking done right as well. John Carpenter seems to have a good gift for taking something outrageous but still directing it competently and in a way that makes that should inspire more filmmakers on how filmmaking is done.
Yeah, it is good. It's a good masterclass actually in creating what appears to be a very large world with quite little in terms of budget and resources.
And he had a very.
Okay.
Sorry, good.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask, what you all thought of Escape from LA, because I actually quite like Escape from LA if you view it as like almost like a parody of this movie in a way.
I have no idea what happened in that fucking movie. I have no idea what was going on.
Oh, it's like I kind of viewed it in the same light as something like Last Action Hero, where it's intentionally campy. It's it's interesting to see a director satirizing his own work, but I kind of think that's what he's doing with Escape from LA, and I find it kind of charming, honestly.
I think you're being really, really kind to John Carpenter on that one, good. I think you've been really kind. I think that, he had a fantastic run, didn't he? He had a really, really good run of hits, and they were extremely good movies. Not just extremely good movies, but each a classic. Each is a movie that we still talk about now. I think Escape from LA.
Escape from LA is not one of those movies.
Wow. Yeah,
I find it quite fun.
Listen, if it's a guilty pleasure for you, man, that's fine. I haven't seen it since I saw it at the cinema because that was how much I liked it. It's never been in my physical media collection. Dan Candy says it was horrible. I remember as soon as we had that really bad early CGI tube surfing sequence, I was like, what is this, man?
Russell looks confused to what he's fucking doing.
Yeah. So I just Isaac Hayes as the villain definitely elevates it to classic status. True. But there's so much about Escape from New York that's so clever, especially the miniature work of New York City.
Oh, it's fantastic.
They built a massive model for that.
The thing with Escape from New York is that it still took itself seriously for you to care what happened to the characters. Even the scene where Brain dies and Adrian Barbeau is just looking in shock, and Snake Plissken's like, "We gotta keep moving," and she just gives him this look. She doesn't have to say a fucking word. He knows what she's thinking. He passes her the gun. She goes out like a boss. It's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Yeah. It's I have to say, Gord, I'm with you on this. Most people don't like it. I quite liked Carpenter's Vampires.
I think it's pretty fun.
I
also think people sometimes mistake that movie for Dracula 2000 because I think they came out sort of close.
Yeah, they did.
But, I know in a couple of conversations when I would talk about with somebody, they would talk about Dracula 2000. I'm like, you're not talking about the movie I'm talking about.
Gary Bolter, head of Outcast Australia chapter,
man,
says Into the Mouth of Madness was John Carpenter's last great one. That's I'm not sure what I'd have to look on his IMDb, but maybe we'll have to do a John Carpenter stream.
It was part of his Apocalypse trilogy, The Thing, The Prince of Darkness, and then the In the Mouth of Madness.
That's a grim trilogy right there. There's by the way, there's a
grim but brilliant.
The guys that did the Aliens expanded documentary are doing a Thing expanded documentary. That's
I've got to watch that.
Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, it's not out yet, but when it is, it'll be good.
I think they're still funding that one, aren't they?
I believe so.
It's still going on for that.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm sure it'll be good. Quite a few of the cast have passed away. Kurt Russell's still around, so as long as they can get Kurt Russell on board, then it'll be worth it. And I think also they did such a good job.
I mean, it's crazy because all he's doing is really a Clint Eastwood impression, but then later on you get games like Metal Gear Solid where the actual character inspires Solid Snake, and even having his character disguise himself as a person called Plissken anyway.
Iroquois Pliskin.
This is by the way, this is my favorite poster for Escape from New York, and it's also the cover of the vinyl album, which of course I've got. And I really do like the opening music, the main theme for this.
Yeah.
Do you think the guy who did Cloverfield saw this poster and thought, I'm going to recreate this in a way?
He's got
it. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. That I like that film, Cloverfield.
Cloverfield's pretty solid.
Yeah, I thought it was a good fun. It's a really good what do you call it? When it's shot from a all told from a video camera's point of view.
It was a kind of a found footage.
Found footage fly on the wall. Yeah.
It's also kind of a good satire on the incompetence of people in authority. Authoritarian. Something like that, because the president is an absolute fucking coward, and when Snake goes up to him and says, "What about the people who died for you?" and he's like, "Oh yes, their sacrifice was not in vain. Now, excuse me, I need to get to the cameras." And that's when you know Snake Plissken is going to destroy his little piece somewhere.
That's when you know that he made the right decision. It's interesting that someone's mentioned Ghost of Mars. When I first started watching that film, and I've got a physical copy of it on DVD, it was one of the ones I got with my actual first DVD recorder. You went into the shop, you bought it, they had a load of films on the rack, and they were like, pick 2 films, and I picked that and Dead Poets Society. And I hadn't seen Ghost of Mars. And
you've seen the beginning, the deleted beginning of Escape from New York, where Snake Plissken is on a job when some people get killed before he gets caught.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, I'm glad they lost it, because this is a character that's a loner. He's an island.
The less you kind of know about him at the beginning, the better,
exactly.
I think.
Yeah.
And it humanizes him so much. Yeah, he is human. When Brain died, you do see a little bit of sadness and sympathy towards Adrian Barbeau's character. But that's what I like about him. Like he's not really much of a hero. I mean, when he's seeing 2 guys grow up in a woman, he kind of just walks off and it's like, it's not my problem. This is not my business. I've got a job to do. That's what kind of a hero he is. He's not really an all-round good guy, but root for him anyway, because the people who are forcing him in the situation are 10 times worse.
I was going to say I quite liked the premise of Ghost of Mars, if they basically made it Assault on Precinct 13 meets Outland set on Mars with zombies, that would have been great. But it sort of set up quite a good premise, but then didn't deliver. And I don't know whether they ran out of money or what happened, but
yeah, I didn't really hate that movie. It's been
no, I didn't hate it.
It's been a few years since I've seen it, but I'm gonna give it another go.
But it's forgettable. All I can remember is what's her name's head being decapitated. That's about the only thing I remember from that film. And
Clea Duvall.
Yeah. But anyway, this is a good movie. Gord, you've seen Escape from New York, I take it?
Yeah, it's I haven't seen it many times. I think I've only seen it twice, so it's been a little while, but I definitely like it. I have, funny enough, probably seen Escape from LA more times. But the thing is, I saw that one first. I had not seen Escape from New York before I saw Escape from LA. So I've seen Escape from LA probably like 5 or 6 times.
Well, what would people rate this out of 10? It's a 9 from me. I've seen it fairly recently as well. Inside Man?
10.
10.
Easy.
Luke?
Yeah, 10. For some reason, the flaws make this better.
Toxic?
7. It's really overrated.
It's grumpy 7. It's overrated. That there's not enough gay characters.
We're not streaming anymore.
Okay. All right. Gord?
I think I'd probably go, from my recollection of how I felt about it, probably like a 7.5 to 8 at least.
Okay.
I definitely don't think this is his overrated movie. I think that's Halloween.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Halloween is a really good, simple horror film.
Halloween is really good on a technical level, and and the iconography of it is excellent. Great score.
No,
I just don't think it's well written at all.
Yeah, it's a very. It's. I mean, it's also Carpenter's trying things out, and it's very much a learning director's movie, but it's a good learning director.
Yeah, I mean, and that's still I appreciate because I think The Thing is his masterpiece. It's arguably the greatest horror movie of all time, and I think a lot of what he learned from Halloween translated over to The Thing later on.
I think The Thing and Big Trouble in Little China are two of his best.
Oh, Big Trouble's great.
Big Trouble is amazables. Inside Man, I know you're busting to tell us about an Italian film. Please.
Actually, I've actually got a Spanish one again this week.
Okay, it doesn't have the word child in the title again, does it?
No. This is this is The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. I don't know whether anyone's seen that at all.
The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue, shot in Spain.
It was actually shot in Manchester, or shot. Was it? It was shot up to north. And it was. Although it was shot in Spanish. And obviously, it was redubbed into English with some rather dubious English dubbed accents.
What year was this?
I think it was 73.
Is it also known as Let Sleeping Corpses Lie?
Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah. So it's...
Wow, Gord's on the cover. Well, Gord's minions, I would say. These are how I imagine kind of the Gord pumpkin people when they rise. Sort of look something along these lines.
This is actually a satire, and it's one of the earliest kind of eco zombie. In fact, I think it is the very first eco zombie movie. So we have a young guy. He's on his motorbike. He's on his way up north, up to the Lake District, up to Windermere, and he has a little bit of a run-in with this girl in a little Mini Cooper. So his bike is in the repair shop, and he has to come back for it after the weekend. So she gives him a lift, but of course she has to go and see her sister for some reason or other. They stop off at a farm because they can't find directions. They can't find any signposting to get to her sister's house that's tucked away in the in the sort of little country lanes.
Right.
So they stop off at a farm, and they see this experiment going on with this weird machine. And of course, this machine, what it's doing is it's getting rid of all the pests, all the insects for the crops. By irradiating them with kind of ultrasound, sort of ultrasonic radiation. So but of course, it's having an effect on the recently deceased,
Right.
and of course, they're all coming back to life. Makeup's pretty good, really good for the year, I suppose. It's all round. It's a good movie. It really is a good movie. This was actually on the banned list as well. This was at one point was on the video nasties list, though I can't think why.
Damn. This guy reminds me of one of the creatures from Carry On Screaming.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Kenneth Williams invents. That's a film that Gord needs to watch if you haven't seen it. But
it is a good film. It reminds me of that Australian film last weekend. Was it The Last Weekend?
Yeah, that's a good piece of makeup on the stitching there.
But yeah, there are moments when it's pretty tense. It's not particularly horrific, but it's more. There are a couple of disturbing scenes. There's one disturbing scene in the hospital.
That's isn't that the entrance to? I'm just talking about real film locations here. That's the entrance to Cheddar Gorge, I'm pretty sure. And that church is not there. That's a plate shot, isn't it?
No, that church is there.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. Yeah.
I feel like that's because that really looks like the entrance to Cheddar Gorge, and that church is not at the beginning of Cheddar Gorge.
I don't think it is. I think we are actually up in the lakes. We're really closer towards the lakes now. So, but it's good. It is good. And I think the Spanish and the Italians, they do horror and satire better than anybody. I think they surpass anything that both the Brits and the Americans can do in terms of horror satire. This I think is one of the best. It's one of my personal favorites. But I don't understand why this was on the banned list. I think it was just because of the title.
So, to update you, this was also partly shot at Chinchilla Studios as well.
It was. The interiors, I'm sure.
Filming took place in the northwest of England and Lazio, Italy, and Chinchilla Studios, Greater Manchester, Barnes Hospital in Cheadle, Peak District.
In Cheadle,
this might be the Peak. This might be the Peak District, actually.
Yeah.
Castleton, which stands in for the fictional village of Southgate, and the dramatic Winnett's Pass, which has a church superimposed onto it.
Oh, right.
Lance wins.
Well done. Yeah.
I told you that was a plate shot.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. So they painted that on glass and then put it in front of the. Did it with the exposure, didn't they? So that was one of them.
To be honest, it looks good.
Though.
It does look good.
But I know a plate shot when I see it. So that's Winnett's Pass. I'll see if I can find it. So Gord only came on for this spectacular piece of geographical information.
Yeah. That's why I'm here.
Again. Let's wait for an alien to pop out of that. Is this Ray Lovelock then? This guy on the right, Raymond Lovelock, no less.
Is it?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. How many speaks with a sort of an English accent like this? But of course, it's dubbed from Spanish. So,
right. The movie stars Ray. Oh, you put Ray Lovecock. It's Lovelock, Gord. Lovelock.
I'm looking. I need to look at the poster again because
not
the poster. I looked on IMDb and I could have sworn that's what it said. I was like, huh? That's an unfortunate name. I mean, I've seen names like that before, but
what would you give it out of 10?
I mean, I'd give this one an 8. It's pretty much a must see. I think if you're into any of your odd European horror, this is one of those that has to be seen. There's a really good scene in the graveyard and the church, but the weird scene is with this baby in the hospital that is fucking odd. It's really, really odd. but like I say, I've no idea why this was placed on the banned list. It's obviously because of the title. They were banning all kinds of ridiculous stuff at the time, sort of in the 80s.
Here is that real location, by the way. So this is the real when it's passed.
Right,
This
there
is
you
on.
go.
Oh, bloody hell! It just kicked me off. Let me go back. So yeah, it's just here, and let's get on the road here. So yeah, if you turn around this way, that's the shot, but we need to go a little bit further back, and then so they probably had the camera up about here, I think on this bend here somewhere, for that shot, and then superimpose that church into there. There you go. It hasn't changed that much though.
No, it hasn't. No.
Yeah. So
no. I think it's one of these English areas of outstanding natural beauty, isn't it? That the National Trust like to protect. So thank goodness.
So here you go, Gord. You can see it for real. This is known as like an outstanding feature in the UK. Of course, in America, there's like sort of dozens of these in every state. You know, we've only got a couple of them here and there. So yeah, it is pretty cool though. I'd love to walk up at the top.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to the lakes, been to the Lake District. It's lovely. I mean, Ullswater and Penrith and places like
that is on my. That's one of my to-dos on my bucket list. Is the Lake District. I really would love to do that.
Oh, it's beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
Oh, actually, that shot was done from. I don't know. It might have been done from this side. Because I feel like this might have been where that.
Yeah, that looks more. That looks
that's more like it. That's
it.
probably
Yeah,
the shot, isn't it?
that's almost precisely it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
so,
but it's a good movie. It is a good film. For anybody who really does, who has an interest in these particularly late 60s, early 70s European horror films. I mean, the Spanish, like I said, the Spanish, the French, and the Italians do them brilliantly. It's slightly hammerish. There's a little bit of a Hammer feel to it, but not that much of a Hammer feel. It's not quite so.
Kitsch.
I don't like to say, I don't like to say bland as Hammer, because a lot of people will go straight for the jugular. Excuse the pun on that.
No,
one.
I do feel that Hammer horror films have got a very sort of bland isn't too far from the kind of word I'm looking for, but they all feel very samey.
Yeah, there is a kind of a
color palette is very minimal and
yeah. I mean, there are some in the Hammer catalog that are undoubtedly classics.
Right.
I think particularly, I mean, the first one that springs to mind really is The Hound of the Baskervilles, which is a fantastic film.
Yeah, that's good.
Really, really good movie. And I actually rather like. Don't kick me in the shins for this one, but I actually rather like the two Doctor Who movies that Hammer produced as well. I thought they were really
the
good.
ones that Flemyng's dad directed.
Of course they are.
I know. I absolutely love both those movies.
I think
I've
they're
got them on
great.
Blu-ray. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah,
I love the colours in those because they really.
Oh, it's beautiful. Really
better than
really
any
beautiful.
of the recent Doctor Who stuff.
Yeah, I hear that's being cancelled. Is that right? That there was a thing today that
it's
like being cancelled.
Well, maybe we'll talk about that quickly. Tony Kaye, who directed American History X, is in the chat.
Hey, Tony.
Communicating with Tox about matters. There we go. Those Doctor Who movies were good. I mean, you could go back and make a Doctor Who movie that looks like one of those, with similar techniques, and I think I think people would like it.
Yeah, I think they're really well made, really beautifully crafted films. I really do. I'm a big fan of them, and it felt slightly disappointing to me to go back to the TV series after I'd seen them when I was a kid. It felt very very confined, very small scale after seeing these movies. But I love them. I love them. But yeah, Hammer, Hammer, they are worth watching. A lot of the Hammer stuff and the Amicus stuff. Always been a big fan of the portmanteau films, though, the ones where you have 4 or 5 separate stories that all kind of tie in at the end. Things like Asylum and Dr. Terror's House of Horrors and Vault of Fear and all that kind of stuff. I rather like all those sorts of things.
So according to the Radio Times regarding this Doctor Who issue, by the way, I definitely wouldn't trust this policeman. He looks grade A creepy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and what's your rating? What's your rating for Let Corpses Lie? Just before we move on.
I'd give this an 8.
Right.
Yeah.
Roman of Empires here. Good to see you, Roman. Let me know if you want to pop in. Yeah, I mean, I stopped watching. The last Doctor Who stuff that I watched was with Peter Capaldi. I didn't even watch all of his stuff. I saw probably about 2/3 of his. I saw 2 episodes with the lady. They were both absolutely awful. And I just wanted to see what Noguchi was like as the Doctor. And I thought he was okay. But I just, the stories and the style and the tone of it just was all just too camp for me. I just, it just didn't feel like Doctor Who anymore, really.
Yeah.
And I don't mind a young Doctor because when I heard Matt Smith got cast as the Doctor, I thought, oh no, he's going to be terrible. And he really earned the role. He was really good. He sort of just did something I wasn't expecting with it. He did have good scripts. And I think this guy could have done a good job with good scripts and the right sort of tone, and because I do think he's a very talented actor. But so they have responded. They said that the show has not been cancelled following an incorrect tabloid report. The stun stirred up concern. It was about to go dormant again. Speculation comes after perceived disappointment over Doctor Who season 14 viewing figures. Sun's anonymous source said he was eyeing a move to Los Angeles to pursue Hollywood. I'm sure that's probably true because that's every actor's dream, basically. US ratings analyst Nielsen, aka Lance Nielsen, suggesting it perhaps hasn't been a breakout hit across the pond. It's nice I got to mention. That's great. So unconfirmed. There you go.
Yeah, I think.
I don't think he's going to come back.
No, I think really it's really on the cards, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was going to say was, my second one, just moving on quickly, and I'll get this out of the way really, really quick. Was
that's all right. You can do it. You can do a second one.
Twisted Pair, Neil Breen's movie.
Oh, Neil Breen. Listen, we love talking about Neil Breen on here, especially as Claude is like president of the Neil Breen fan club. The Neil Breen assassination fan club. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't love his movies. We just build his air conditioning.
Oh my goodness me! I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it. I thought Fateful Findings was bad, but this is on a completely different level. I mean, this really kind of he steps it up several notches with this
Guys,
one.
I feel this is one of those moments on the show where we should opt to risk watching the trailer.
I will just say, just in case you are thinking of showing any clips of the actual movie other than the trailer, be very careful because apparently he is a real stickler for anybody showing footage from his movies.
What about trailers?
Trailers, I think, would be okay because obviously we're promoting, so it would be under fair use.
Well, I mean, I know you're about to give it the highest praise.
Oh, yeah.
Twisted Pair. That sounds like
a testicular issue.
The end of a really bad day.
It sounds like a biographical movie about toxic nuts.
Yeah, it really is a testicular issue.
So Trump Daddy's signing an executive order to remove Doctor Who and Fauci from the medical department. I don't know who this guy is, but he does make funny comments. Rachel Percy's here. Yeah, bring back the time of Doctor Who in a leather jacket. I agree, preferably with pads on the elbows. All right, let's watch a bit of Neil Breen as a talent that can only truly be appreciated by observing the depth of his acting abilities, which is why, for any of the uninitiated of the 19 people watching, I feel you should see a bit.
My name is Cade. I have an identical twin brother, Cale. Then one day it all changed. There was a bright light in the sky and time stood still. We were both selected.
Identical clothes with identical
Pure majesty
creases
of nature.
Programmable virtual reality, the corrupt version.
She took her acting lessons from him. It's the same style, exactly.
A limitless digital universe, connecting all shared virtual reality. Digital tribes.
Stock footage?
I miss what I never knew.
I'll take you out to dinner. Leave me alone. I have a boyfriend. Let's have a drink. Let's have a drink. Leave me alone.
Let's have a drink. I'll meet you back here at 8 o'clock. I miss my brother.
That's not part of the film. That's just Breen trying to chat someone up on the street.
That was
Programmable matter. Kuz's biological mutant warfare plans must be stopped. Who am I? What am I?
It's a killer with unidentifiable DNA.
That killed him? That killed him.
He came by shooting him in the nuts. Or...
In AI, fright and interest are not far from each other. Things can become real in your mind. I trust you completely, and you believe things you wouldn't.
I trust you completely.
Believe.
Now you're in my bed.
Justice is served.
Oh my God. Oh man. Oh man. Neil, pay me. I'll edit your movies better than you do. I'm not even great at it. I can improve it. I know that.
And die.
It's good that he had a ZX Spectrum to do the effects. Critical Owl says,
Kid, I will love you for all eternity.
We will live in a virtual metaverse, a virtual universe, living in our own world every day. Everyone has the right to love and peace.
Who's he talking to?
Us, I suppose.
I'll be right
here. Unbelievable.
Oh my God.
So,
truly,
truly
remarkable.
We said we're gonna do a Neil Breen appreciation stream at some point. Well, where do we begin with this?
Well, it's so we have these two brothers.
Have you seen the whole movie? Yeah,
I've seen the whole movie. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So
I'm gonna just check out the acting credits of the females while you're talking.
Yeah, I think she's done one other thing. The lead female has done one other thing, and yeah, I'm not sure whether it was acting, but yeah. So it's about these two brothers. I've no idea why it's called a twisted pair, because one of them is good, and obviously, and the other one is bad. So it's crammed full of copyright-free stock music, as you could probably hear. You've probably heard most of the soundtrack of this in any given YouTube commercial that you would stumble across. There's loads of stock footage, and so these two brothers are, oh God, how can you explain it? So these two brothers are taken up into space somewhere. You don't know where, but they're taken up into space, because all of this is done through exposition. So they're taken as children, and then they're returned by some mega force back to Earth to do good. One doesn't perform quite as well on his missions, but the other one, Cade, is exceptionally good. So he goes, somehow he's attached to some Secret Service organization, I think, and he's got to destroy this organization, this person who has created an empire of mutant DNA or something like that. But what it is,
something
sounds very convoluted, doesn't it?
What it is the script is obviously, it's things that he thinks sounds good, and he's put them into a script. It's pretty much a word salad, and absolutely nothing of this makes sense. It's a series of things that he happens to have, I say filmed or shot, but that he happens to have been in front of the camera with other people talking, that happen to be committed to, his digital camera, and he just happens to have edited them together. There's no coherent story. Everything is completely non sequitur. There's an hilarious moment where the bad brother Cale, is delivering drugs to his girlfriend, and he punches her, and she punches him, and he tries to punch her again, and of course he does, but he forgets to actually put the punch sound effect in.
Right.
So you hear these sort of and then he forgets to put another punch sound effect in, and she sort of falls onto the bed. It's arguably the worst film I think I've ever seen. However, for all of the criticism that people direct towards Neil Breen, I think he knows exactly what he's doing. And I think that he is completely aware that nobody is this dumb, that nobody on this planet is this dumb. I think he's completely aware of everything that he's doing, and he knows that there is going to be an audience out there for any old shit, regardless of how bad the shit is. And I think he's looking for some kind of notoriety, some form of fame in one way or another. And he's going down the Tommy Wiseau route. I think that's what he thinks. Because and that's how I'm kind of trying to compute this whole thing in my own mind, that nobody can be that dumb, that this is actually his plan, that he is deliberately making these bad movies with these bad actors and acting bad. I mean, he looks like Engelbert Humperdinck, for Christ's sake.
His movies are like watching an old person try to figure out how to use a cell phone.
Yes. Yes.
And in this case, the cell phone is the hot actresses he puts in.
Well, the cell phone that he's trying to figure out, I think, is how humans actually act, how humans interact with each other, because he seems to find everything complicated. The walking, running. I mean, he moves like a plastic bag full of yogurt. He can't run. He can't walk. He can't emote.
But he can teleport from one location to another, as the film demonstrated.
But this great scene, I mean, I say great scene, but this great scene near the beginning, not far from the beginning, where he's in this complex and he says, "Follow me." They can't hurt me. Follow me. Follow me. And of course, he just loops his dialogue. And there's another scene where he's having an argument with his girlfriend, and she goes, "I'm done with you," and he goes, "I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. Get out. Get out. Get out." And it's literally just looped. He hasn't even bothered to edit it properly. He's just literally.
Maybe that's because she
It's
ran
so
off
bad.
after the second take and doesn't have any other dialogue with the woman. Maybe the woman, scooched out. This is Ada Masters? Is this one of the girlfriend characters?
Yeah.
I'm guessing, the bad guy's also got a girlfriend. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just a coincidence that Neil Breen played two characters, therefore he gets to sleep with two different women.
Yeah. And I mean, in his previous films, particularly Fateful Findings, it was any opportunity to be in the presence of a naked woman and to touch a naked woman and to kiss and grope a naked woman. But of course, there's not much of that in this. Maybe somebody's actually told him to, stop, stripping down young women, young Polish girls, and having them in your film. But this is a 63-year-old man who obviously likes the younger females.
Well, how did you find out his real age?
It's on IMDb.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
a lot of people have had their ages taken off IMDb now. Yeah, you're not allowed to ask actors their age anymore in the industry, which I think is bollocks. But yeah.
He's I don't know what he is really. I mean, I think we spoke about Fateful Findings a few months back, Lance, and
we did.
I happened to mention something about apparently there was a standing ovation in the cinema, and you called it out and said no, it was all fake.
That's right. He basically filmed the standing ovation at either the opening or closing night of a film festival. I think it was in France, which took place in a huge auditorium, and he was obviously on stage and he had a camera, or he just took footage from that night.
Yeah.
And that was a festival where they did show a Neil Breen movie.
Yeah.
Probably for comical reasons. But that ovation was not for him. It was like the closing. I think it was the closing night of the festival and the speeches and what have you. No one was giving Neil Breen a standing ovation. I mean, I'm sure that's happened many times in his head. He looks really strange here. This looks like he looks like sort of a version of the Master from Doctor Who, but of the period of like late 1970s, early 80s. This would be like the Master that you would get in a John Pertwee Doctor Who episode,
He's using that old Star Trek cliche where the doubles come from another universe and they've all got goatees just to let you know they're evil.
Has he also got like a massive zit on his lip there? What's going on with the at the end of the tash? I'm not sure if that's on the lens or if that's waiting to be popped. I don't know what's going on there.
But one of the strange things about this man, and it's a very, very odd thing, is that he has a series of DVDs that he sells on his website.
Yeah,
on filmmaking
and acting as well, I think.
Yeah, my God, and
you can tell that all of the people that have the ladies that act with him have all watched those DVDs to garner their acting skills.
Yeah, it's the most bizarre thing I think I've ever seen, and I'm looking forward to the sequel. I'm going to be getting that very, very soon. Because he has made a sequel.
You should title. You could sell that whole series probably as like "How to Fail the Voight Comp Test." It's probably more accurate.
Yeah.
It's just, it's indescribable. I mean, it truly it has to be seen to be believed. Truly, truly awful piece of work. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Or if you can flip that and say it's a unique piece of genius.
Yeah, you could.
That's a Neil Breen way of looking at it.
Some might say that.
Yeah, some might. What would you give this out of 10?
Well, for effort, 0. For entertainment, it has. Look, entertainment is off the scale, but in terms of it being a work of art and anything that's remotely worth purchasing and having in any DVD or Blu-ray collection, God Almighty! I mean, I can't. I don't know how low can I go? Below 0.
Well, you can
rating it a Breen out of 10.
A Breen out of 10. There you go.
Yeah. On the Breen scale, it's still on the Breen scale, it's 10 for entertainment, but 0 for everything else. It's fucking awful.
People are interested in who is the brunette chick. I'm not sure if you mean Sarah Merritt.
Oh, that's Neil Breen.
Is that Neil Breen?
He's the brunette chick.
So Sarah Merritt, who's the one who we saw rejecting his advances in the trailer. And then here she is again. Clearly now she's taken some drugs and she's interested in this shot.
This is because I'm going to spoil everything for everybody now.
Go for it.
He kills her because she's working against him for some outside agency.
Okay.
And
wait,
of course
the character or the actress?
Possibly both.
Possibly both. Yeah. And they get together in some kind of I don't know, meta heaven or something, and that's when he does his little speech right at the very end where he says, "We all deserve love. We all deserve to be loved and peace. I'll be right there."
He always seems to be doing a lot of grandstanding in his movies. Like he's the one who has to push these messages of love and be kind to each other. And I bet he's not that guy when he's behind the camera.
No, I bet he's a shit. But I will say, can I just quickly add that the one scene that I probably had the most amount of enjoyment out of was when he kidnaps these 3, as they're described, 3 top corporate businessmen. So he, so the bad brother captures these men and he says, "I'm gonna hold you here for days and days." And one of them says, it's like this massive, weird exposition dump. One of them says, "I knew this was gonna come and bite us on the ass one day. Oh my God, all of those stolen cars, all of that embezzled money from the charities, all of the banks that we stole money from, all of the businessmen we had assassinated, all of the judges we corrupted, all of the senators we paid off.
And we would have got away with it if it wasn't for those meddling
kids."
You know what's sad for real though is they do. I mean, it's not quite on the same like on the nose bad movie making level as that, but the new Captain America does the same thing at the beginning of that movie. It's that whole news report at the beginning it kind of reminds me of those like late 40s Batman serials where it's like the opening is the big exposition thing. It's like, how are our heroes fare? Find out today. It's that level without the tagline.
Oh my
at the end.
God.
It's so bad.
Well, a couple of things have happened while we've been on air. One is that Guy Pearce, publicly went public about Kevin Spacey physically harassing him and stuff. Kevin Spacey has uploaded a video and responded. I feel we should watch. What do you reckon?
Yeah, why
not? But before we do that, people in the chat were asking about the attractive brunette in the movie. Ada Masters. Here's her Facebook page. So if you want to contact her, she's also on Twitter. As you can see, there's absolutely zero information there. She could be an alien, like Neil Breen himself. So 2 acting credits to her name. Cast her in your low-budget film now.
I will message her just to offer my sympathies for.
Mate, get her to come on. All right, okay. So this is Kevin Spacey uploaded this to Twitter. I haven't watched it. So you know, and I will say for the public record, don't forget he was found not guilty of all charges. So
Guy Pearce. I've now read the comments that you made about me, and while I would have preferred not to have to play this out in the media, you obviously have your own reasons for wanting to do exactly that. But we worked together a long time ago. You know, if I did something then that upset you, you could have reached out to me. We could have had that conversation. But instead, you've decided to speak to the press, who are now, of course, coming after me because they would like to know what my response is to the things that you said. You really want to know what my response is? Grow up. Did you also, by the way, tell the press that a year after we shot LA Confidential, you flew to Savannah, Georgia, while I was shooting Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, just to spend time with me? I mean, did you tell the press that too? Or does that not fit into the victim narrative you have going? So anyway, I apologize that I didn't get the message that you don't like spending time with me. I mean, maybe there was another reason, I don't know. But that doesn't make any sense that you would have just been leading me on, right? But here you are now on a mission some 28 years later, after I've been through hell and back, to do what? Just in time to stop the bad guy? Huh? Is that what's going on here? What took you so long? Did your horse run out of gas? I mean, you want to have a conversation? I'm happy to do so. Anytime, any place. We can even do it here, live on X if you like. I've got nothing to hide. But Guy, you need to grow up. You are not a victim.
Hell yeah. Hell yes.
Well,
good for you, Kevin. Good for you.
I have to say that if it's good that we don't do religion and politics on this channel, because this fortunately comes under film news. Now I have to say that what he's saying in his rebuttal, shall we say, to Mr. Pearce, and Guy Pearce is an actor I hugely admire, and you know, before all this happened, also had a lot of time for Kevin Spacey. But what he seems to be saying is that they for some period of time they had some sort of fling or relationship at some stage, of which Pearce came out to see him of his own volition. So, which could probably be proved, I would think, with records and that sort of thing. So that's an interesting rebuke. I think there's a valid point to be made that, like, his comment on why are you saying this now? Why didn't you come out and say it earlier? And let's put at the time that it happened out of the window for the moment. Why didn't he come out during while the court case was all sort of prepping? He could have been somebody who could have been a witness, couldn't he? He could have been a witness for the prosecution if he wanted to. I mean, by that time, his career, he's an A-lister. He's no one's. His career would not have taken a knock. So, I find it interesting that this is only being said now. Why is this only being said now?
I think what tends to happen is, and I'm not saying that this is the case in these particular circumstances, but what tends to happen is that something is maybe something untoward has been said about one person, and in order to cover their arse, that person comes out with something else and starts pointing the finger at somebody else.
Exactly.
You know,
right.
It may or may not be the case in this, but let's just say it happens. And it's a kind of there tends to be things that tend to crop up that people want to cover something else up with by pointing their finger at somebody else. So,
I mean, regardless of who did what to who, said what about who, or whatever the situation is, I'm going to say this. Kevin Spacey coming out guns blazing on the, good for him, instead of a tuck tail, right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't know what all the behind the scenes things is with it. Me, you never know. But I'll tell you this: I have a low tolerance for people that will say certain things when there's blood in the water.
Yeah.
And I don't subscribe to that. I've been a big advocate of Joss Whedon because I happen to know personally that it just all the fanboy stuff I used to do with watching the entire cast of all of his shows, would go to his house and drink wine and recite Shakespeare and have little musical parties and things of that nature. And yet I'm asked to believe that, he was this predator that was doing all of these things. Like, listen, if someone is harassing you, you don't go up to their dinner and lawn parties every single weekend on your time off. So make of that what you will. I admire Kevin Spacey for, I think two things can be true at once. I think it is very possible to be a beehole and to be a creep, and to also not be guilty of outlandish assaults and or harassments and things like that. I think that we live in an age where everyone expects everyone else to tiptoe around them all the time. And, my call sign is not the Lord of Nicicity, it's the Lord of Toxicity. So I tend to put people off things I say or do. And I have a lot of sympathy for people who are just kind of jerks, and people build something up in their mind, and everyone will, their fallback is, and like you said, Lance, and thank you so much for saying that, he's not been proven guilty in any sort of court, for, but yet he's been demolished, as has Joss Whedon. So, I take issue with that. Good for him standing up for himself.
Okay. Well, we've gone over time slightly, but I did say I would talk about this movie tonight, and also as we've got Gord here, if Gord wants to plug anything or mention anything he's been watching that is particularly pumpkin-tastic, I'll let you chime in before the end. I'm just going to give this film a shout out because it's only got 8 days left on Amazon Prime. So if you've got an Amazon Prime account, you can watch it for free on Amazon. It's the true story of Paul Raymond, as he liked to call himself, or Paul Raymond, who was he was a property mogul who owned a huge number of properties in Soho, which is it was both the media heart and the sleaze heart of a district of central London. So an unusual place where you would have, the top agents and top film production companies in one building, right next to a strip show and a peep show and a pornographic store adjacent. And Paul Raymond owned a lot of those buildings, both the ones that had the media companies in and the ones that had the shows. He also owned the Raymond Review Bar, which was a very famous institution in its day. And he was always pushing the envelope in terms of what he would put in shows and things like this. Quite a complex character, brilliantly portrayed by Steve Coogan. It's a Michael Winterbottom film. They collaborate pretty regularly. It's pretty much the same team behind 24-Hour Party People, which is a film I've talked about on my channel before. Some good performances from Anna Friel, Tamsin Egerton, and Imogen Poots as the daughter. I won't say overall it's a it's a brilliant movie. I think it's a good movie. It's a solid biopic movie. It's kind of a 7 out of 10 film. But if you fancy a good biopic about a sort of eccentric British character, quite well portrayed, I think it's a film that's worth your time. And if you need something to kind of whack on when you're going to bed, you want to put a movie on, this one on Amazon's only got a week left. So, why not bump it up to the top while you've got a chance?
And as it's got Anna Friel in, you can whack off.
Yeah, it's got Anna Friel in it. Anna Friel in it is looking pretty tasty, but has to be said, Tamsin Edgerton really does steal the film. Blue Collar Loser super chat for a $4.99 pumpkins. Sorry, Lance, stuck at work, which is why I have not been here for about 60 years. I thought Kai ended perfectly. I assume he means Cobra Kai. The series begins and ends with Johnny. His arc over 6 seasons is epic. I'm going to miss this. I agree. Cobra Kai is Johnny's show, and I like the fact that it really does put Johnny at the forefront of the bookend narrative, and he also gets the last line in the series and a great last scene. We talked about it earlier on. Yeah. So has anybody else seen The Look of Love before I jump on board, so to speak?
I have not.
I have heard of it. I have heard of it years ago, though, but
it came out in the cinema in 2013, and I actually went to see it at the cinema with my ex, funnily enough. I watched it last night. I thought, oh, I can't sleep. What shall I put on? And you know how Amazon says, leaving the channel in 7 days. There's a whole strip of movies. And this was one of them. And I thought, oh, I haven't seen that since I saw it at the cinema. Let me watch it again. And so the name of the movie, Keith, is The Look of Love. It's on Amazon. I know Keith's vision is limited, so he may not be able to see the poster, which I'm currently sharing at the present time. So, yeah, I guess I'm the only one of the panel who has seen it. There's lots of fun scenes involving cocaine. And it's predominantly set in the 70s. So there's lots of tashes and 70s decor in the few lines on the table there. Yeah, it is a fun movie, and not that long. I think about 2008. I went to see a play that John Sim was in the theatre in the Royal Court, not the Royal Court Theatre, the one Shepherd's Bush, the Bush Theatre, and I sat down, and there was a 2 seats reserved next to me. And I leaned at the sticker, and the sticker said reserved for Michael Winterbottom. And I was like, oh, fucking result. And he came and sat down with a very attractive young lady. And I basically grilled him about all of his movies. He hadn't made this one yet, but he had made 24-Hour Party People. So I was chatting away with him. And the young lady said to me in the interval, well, you sat in the right seat, didn't you? I thought, yeah, don't worry, you've got him for the rest of the night. It's fine. So yeah, good film. I do like Winterbottom as a director, although I do think he, when they did that film about the girl that was murdered in Italy by the Americanite, he messed up that movie proper badly. That's something I could talk about for a long time, but I won't. So yeah, Look of Love ends this week on Amazon. Check it out if you got an account. It's worth watching. It's good fun. So good. What before we wrap up? What pumpkin-tastic stuff have you seen?
Gosh, it's funny because lately I've been watching mostly bad movies like MMM. We've been covering Twilight. I saw Brave New World, which I'm working on a video for to have out in the next couple of days. And I watched. I'm watching 28 Weeks Later, which I don't particularly like, but I'll tell you,
that's the second one, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't particularly.
It's okay.
For it.
It's okay. It's just sort of an average movie for a sequel that we really didn't need.
Yeah, but I guess the two I would bring up is a week ago or a couple weeks ago, I think it was. I rewatched the movie Miracle. We're coming up on the anniversary of the Miracle on Ice, 45 years, and I was so impressed with, for one thing, how faithful to the true story the movie is, while at the same time being a pretty exceptionally well scripted movie. There is a really high amount of setup and payoff in that script, that because I was basically, when I'm at work, I really can't watch a movie, but I can listen to the script. So I like to do that from time to time. And
yeah,
Miracle's script, it has so much setup and payoff in it. I was really, really impressed with it. And I think all of the young hockey players they have basically doing acting roles, almost every single one of them does a really great job. But I think it's Kurt Russell's most underrated role. I think he's excellent.
Yeah, he's the coach. He's the coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might be wrong, but I have a feeling I was on a stream with you when we first met. So we're going back a couple of years. And I think you mentioned this film, and I think I said I haven't seen it, and you were all over me like a sloppy pumpkin, basically saying you've got to see this, Lance. You're going to love this film, because I think we were talking about Hoosiers.
I think that was probably brought up on the sports stream.
Yeah, I think it was. I think I was on that stream, and I think this was. Yeah, so I think it was you that brought this movie up, and I was like, shit, I haven't seen that, and I watched it the next day. And I was very impressed. It's a 9 out of 10 movie for me, for sure.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But I would say the other one I'm going to recommend that I have talked about probably more than any other movie in terms of just sheer quantity of times I've brought it up, but I am bringing it up now because we are 1 week away from its 4K release. This movie's never been released in an HD format, and I am super excited for it. We're finally getting the theatrical cut of Amadeus in 4K. I am so happy to finally have that movie in high def. It is, because I like to occasionally watch like a video of like people reacting to a movie for the first time, and it always pains me when I see Amadeus because they're watching the director's cut, and I think pretty much every scene that gets added in the director's cut brings the movie down a bit. So I really don't know if I think any of those scenes are particularly good. I think they recontextualize elements of the story in a pretty bad way. It still is a great movie with those scenes, but I'm like, you're not getting to watch the best version of this, and now it's finally going to be available. I am so excited to get, and I pre-ordered it the day it popped up on Amazon.
Will they have like both versions in that set, do you think?
As far as I know, it's just the theatrical cut.
Which
I'm fine with that. I'm like, it's the best version. That's the version people should watch.
Wow.
And
Amadeus, rock me Amadeus.
Talking of theatrical cuts versus director's cut, I often do think that it's a little bit of a marketing gimmick that they call it a director's cut when it's actually, it may only just be an assembly cut, a work print.
Yeah, and as far as I know, that is the case with this movie, because from what I've done, what I've found out through research is the so-called director's cut, it came out back when director's cuts were kind of getting really, really popular. You'd release a DVD and it's like, oh, here's the director's cut. And in the case of Amadeus, I'm pretty sure Milos Forman stated explicitly that that's not his cut of the movie. He's like, my cut of the movie is the one that, went out into theaters and won all the Oscars. As far as, and it's a far better film with those scenes removed. It did not need that added fat. Like I said, a couple of those scenes genuinely change context for certain like character motivations, or one of them just flat out kind of betrays an earlier notion in the movie. But yeah, I don't like the added scenes. I never have, and I'm really happy the correct version is going to be in all of its 4K glory, because it's such a gorgeous movie to look at.
It's beautiful film. Yeah,
really my favorite movie of all time, and I've been waiting for a very long time to not have to flip the DVD halfway through it.
Fantastic. Oh, by the way, Gord, how are you getting on with Silver Screen Journeys?
It's good. It's been a bit of a slow go with all the stuff I've had going on lately, but it's a very nice book. I'm enjoying it so far.
Oh, pleased to hear that. I know baby pumpkins, man, they take up a lot of time, so all the weeding of the patch, as it were. Good. Amadeus, man. You know what? I'm surprised no one's recommended this movie before. I was always surprised that Tom Hulce's career did not this didn't propel him. You didn't see him get cast in like like you would have thought he would have got cast in a movie like Platoon or stuff like that kind of level, Mississippi Burning, or
he played Quasimodo in the Hunchback of Notre Dame Disney film, and I think the last film I saw him in was Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah, I know they plucked. I want to say for this movie they had Milos Forman maybe had seen his work in I think it was Animal House, and he brought him onto this, and it's such an interesting role because F. Murray Abraham is, of course, that's the performance you're mostly going to see. It's such an and it's kind of two performances wrapped into one. It's the older Salieri and the younger one, and it's amazing. It's my favorite performance of all time. But Tom Hulce is by no stretch a slouch in that movie. He's quite amazing, and there is a lot of depth and nuance to to his performance, and he really worked hard on it. I know that for like the scenes where he's like playing piano and stuff, you know, for the most part, when they do scenes like that, they ADR the actual music over the scenes. But it's from what I've heard, like musicians be like, oh yeah, he's hitting every key correctly. He did a lot of work to, you know, learn the various instruments he worked with. But yeah, he's really amazing in that film. He's really excellent.
Well, we're going to wrap up now, Northern. I know you've got to shoot off.
No, and I didn't want to just leave while God was in the middle of his thing as well. But yeah,
no, that's right.
Thanks for having me on.
I know you've got to man the wall up north. Do your shit.
It's my wife's birthday as well just now, so I've got to celebrate that while trying to keep the White Walkers out. So,
did you want to plug anything before you went, mate?
Yeah, Friday 7 o'clock. I'll be joined by Inside Man, Critical, Fandad, and maybe another guest if anyone wants to join my Escape from New York stream on Friday.
Escape from New York. Yeah, cool. I have a date on Friday, so I won't be able to attend. But unless I get stood up again, in which case I'll be there. All right.
Well, I'll send you the link anyway, just in case.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, man. I'll let you go because I know you gotta shoot off. So we're down to 4. So I guess that's it for us this week. Just want to thank my panelists, Northern Bastard, who's just shot off, the Inside Man, Lord of Toxicity, and of course special spontaneous guest Gord King. And Gord, of course, you know you're welcome anytime. And Roman and Critical have been in the chat. Be great to get both of you guys back on at some point as well. We are coming up to the final episode of The Shield this Sunday. Now, I think that's probably going to happen. There's some social things that I may or may not be doing, and I'm not sure what time they're finishing. So I might have to play that up to the last minute. But at the moment, I think we will be doing episode 13 of season 2 of The Shield this coming Sunday at 8 o'clock, plus looking back at season 2 and talking about the season overall, that kind of thing. We also then have a special episode of Chew the Fat where myself and the Inside Man are going to be discussing all 4 Radon Antebby films. There have been 4 films made about the topic, and I picked it out. I don't know. It feels a little, I would say probably not very politically correct to be discussing Israeli conflict movies right now. But
I think wasn't it prompted by the discussion that we had about the Munich film last week?
Because last week I knew we were going to discuss the new Munich movie, and I thought, you know what, let's talk about all of them. So we covered them all last week, and that led to the decision to do this. But I've always been very fond of one of these films. I won't say which until we're on the stream. And I've seen all 4 of them. I think there's a little bit of merit in all of them. There's a lot of things that are problematical with the new film, which I want to get into. So me and the Inside Man will be discussing these. That'll be in 2 weeks' time. No pumpkins though in those films, I don't think.
That's the 2nd of March, isn't it? Is it 2nd of March?
2nd of March, yeah.
Oh, we're not forgetting the industry interviews 101 tomorrow with Ian Diaz.
Thank you. I knew I'd nearly forgotten something. Yeah, so tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Thank God. That's why you're here, to remind me of these things. We have got industry interview 101. We're interviewing Ian Diaz, who is also known as Mega Geek. Gord, you've probably been on streams with him on.
I think so, yeah.
Mr. Browns, I would imagine. And he's been making his independent, low budget, web series, I suppose you call it. Rebecca Gold season 2 is now crowdfunding. We showed the trailer for it last week. We're going to talk to the creator of this tomorrow and talk about the complexities, the difficulties, and the challenges of making basically a show for very little money, with minimum technical crew and very small crew, very tight budget. I want to know how much they spend on catering, which is always the crucial question. But so we'll be getting into that. So that will be tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Not as cool as the guest that the drinker had on tonight. He interviewed the actor that played Biff in all three Back to the Future films. I saw that.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. But we had the first AD from all three Back to the Future films here.
Yeah.
So if you want to check out that interview with David McGiffert, and by the way, that interview is nearly 3 hours long because we kept trying to let him go, and he was like, "Let me tell you one more story about Christopher Lloyd." Okay, then. So and it was on Father's Day as well. He gave us that interview.
Yeah.
One of the best interviews I've ever done, and he was a fantastic guest. Were you on that one with me, Inside Man? I can't remember.
No, I wasn't. I was watching though. I was watching live.
I think there was somebody else on with me, if I remember rightly, but maybe it was just the two of us. But I thought there was someone else. Anyway, so I'll be myself and the Inside Man tomorrow. Just a good backup because I've had some connection issues lately. I got cut off during my 100th interview stream, which was fairly entertaining. Yeah, it was all right. Drinker and Jason just carried on talking like I wasn't there, so it was all good. Oh yes, the next industry interview after 101, 102 the following week. Got that booked already. Now we're back into behind the camera and pre-production. We have casting director Sharon Sorrentino coming in. So Sharon Sorrentino has been in the industry almost as long as I have, and she's been a full-time casting director pretty much for the last 15-20 years. And I've also actually worked with her on some of her projects, and also filled in for her when she was having her child. So I covered her casting jobs for her. So we've worked together pretty closely. She's also done the casting on almost all of my projects. So do come in and check that out. Find out about how things are cast and all the barriers and hoops that actors have to jump through who are not big names already. So she's on the following week. Gord, have you got anything you'd like to plug, sir?
Sure. Well, as always, you can catch me with Cannoli, Vex, and Whitey on MMM. We're going to be finishing up Twilight this coming Monday, Breaking Dawn Part 2. We've been having fun going through that series. And as for myself on my channel, I have 2 videos coming out probably within the next week and a half. I was in the middle of doing a Poorly Explained for Aladdin. That's about finished. But then I saw Brave New World, and a lot of ideas kind of flooded my head, so I just finished a script for that not too long before I came on here. So I'll be recording the audio for that and editing that one furiously over the next day and a half or so. So you can expect I don't want to call it a review since it's only based on a first-time watch. I would call it more a reaction to Brave New World. But yeah, I'll have those 2 videos up probably this week and next.
So do check out the Gord King's channel. I'm glad you're over the dreaded 1K, but I want to see this channel grow faster. And always a pleasure having you on. And the videos of Gord's videos are especially the Rings of Power videos. Do check those out. And believe me, he went through hell. He went through hell to do those videos. So you have to. You have to support
all the way to Mordor with the pumpkin.
Yeah,
one does not simply make videos of Mordor.
Yeah, that's right. They climb the volcano and fall in. So, you're gonna want to check that out. Toxic, you got anything coming up?
I believe unless he can't do it because of work, I believe we're gonna keep our trend of Blue Collar and I doing rewatches and or just review as they're released of Reachers going into season 3, and so we'll be doing that, and I think that's the highest rated thing he's done, so I think he'll probably want to do it again. And then I am trying my hardest to get someone to go against me on 500 Days of Summer while Cuffing Stevenson is still happening. I wanted someone to argue for Summer while I argue for in defense of Tom, and see what we can get out of that. But
that's a great idea for a stream.
Yeah.
You really need a girl. You need a girl on that.
I know. And
what about Nadia? Maybe Nadia. I don't know if
she's not. she's not watched it, and she's super busy with her stuff.
Right.
So that was my first thought. Then I thought maybe Vex, because Vex is basically the female version of me. So that would have been a really
that's very true.
Yeah, that would have been a
you
nice.
May in fact be two people just doubling up.
Yeah, you've never seen us in the same place at once, so it's quite possible. But yeah, I wanted someone to. I mean, not that they need to, because there's countless videos in defense of Summer saying Tom's the bad guy. And I mean, I guess you can probably already get an idea that narrative. I don't like that narrative. So I really wanted to do that. It's been a long time I've been working on it. It's one of my favorite movies, and
it's a good movie. Really good movie.
It's great. I want someone who appreciates the movie as much as me, but will give a really good defense of Summer so that I can rip it apart and do that. But if I can't, then I'll figure out something and just argue with myself with that.
Well, on that bombshell, that Vex and Tox may in fact be the same person. That's a good time for us to tune out. Do subscribe to my guests' channels. Obviously, do subscribe to this channel. We'd be particularly pleased if you did that. I've managed to cough far less substantial.
Yeah, you sound good tonight, buddy.
Yeah, I'm definitely improving. So that's good. But I do still have to go back to the hospital for a deep scan. Only Gord has experienced this sort of thing before, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So if the doctor comes in and says "strike hard, no mercy" with lube, then I'll know it's Tox or Vex in disguise.
Yes.
But I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash. So yeah, real pleasure to have you guys on. Thanks for everybody watching. Nice crowd in tonight. And even when Drinker was on with his special guest, we still had people watching, which was great because we got a big crossover of the fan base there. So, but to everybody watching at home, don't forget to tell the people that you care about that you love them, and give them a ring, check that they're okay, because there's a lot going on at the moment, and people are feeling down. So looking on those people that are struggling, and always take care of the people that you love. And we will speak to you real soon. Bye.
Bye.
Misfits and dreamers getting innovative. It's film, TV, and theater in the mix. Industry interviews where ideas get their fix. He's creative, we're creative. How about you? Share your passion, join the crew. At our cast, creative, we're breaking through. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Interviews with fellow artists on the rise, and reviews that might surprise. Films, TV shows from back in the day. You might just find a hidden gem today. He's creative, we're creative. How about you? Share your passion, join the crew. At our cast, creative, we're breaking through. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Hang with Lance and the Outcast crew. Filmmakers, comic book creators, stand up proud. Actors, musicians, board game designers, be loud. At Outcast Creative, amazing's the word. He even interviewed the legend, Galen Hurd.